they need no introduction, but we have sort of we'll be doing commentary together. I guess. So KoreanRedDragon, old school wormer. It's
Hi.
been around forever. We have
Yeah, I've
chicken.
heard about
We have Chicken 23, another old school wormer. We've all been playing the game for like 20 years or potentially more.
Yeah,
Um,
yeah.
so yeah, we're all
It's,
kind of old schoolers in this chat. And we're just going to dive into the 5 games I played versus Tita today for Crespo's Worms tournament, just the finals. And just going to do some analysis, some intermediate analysis. So if anyone is a
yes,
non-wormer here,
please.
intermediate is one of the main schemes in Worms Armageddon, one that a lot of people play, and it's also a default scheme when you just load up the game. So it's not a reference to the skill level of the scheme. It's just a scheme called intermediate. It's played by pros, but it's basically 8 worms versus 8 worms. Your team of 8 worms versus the opponent's team of 8 worms. You got 5 ropes, 3 worm selects, and limited resources, and it's all about strategy. It's not one of the schemes that's about like roping. There is a lot of roping skill involved, like rope knocking, but it's something that's more on the strategy side of worms. And let's just get into it. So, all right. So first game of me versus Tita.
The grand finals, of course. It was fun. It was fun watching you guys play because you were both taking it very seriously. I feel like, and I mean that showed to a point in some nervousness as well. But I think that's something you specifically want to see from an important final like this, right?
Yeah, I think there is some nervousness here. So for this first round, I got the first turn.
Did you think of the map? Sorry, of the map and the starting
The
placements
map
because
was terrible luck for Tita,
Yeah.
I gotta say, because once I take out these 2 worms, he has like no worms on the outside of the map, which
Oh.
sucks.
Everything's blocked off, right?
And when I was commentating on this, I said it was really surprising that with the 2 girders, that normally draws some kind of random placements to be on the girder, and like you know, you just had them all trapped under girders when you would expect an
Yeah.
array of tiles across both teams.
Yeah, it's a very trappy level. And
Yeah, that's gonna happen with so many
Yeah.
bridges, right? 2 bridges is more than I'm willing to play on for like any scheme almost.
yeah, so my first turn was I really had to get that so that Tita had no worms on top. Otherwise, he could have taken out some of my left worms. So that makes me safe. But to do that move, I definitely had to do it like right away to get the knock
Yeah, yeah.
and have enough time.
Yeah, low gravity interestingly slows you down quite a bit, especially during jumps, but during roping as well. And if you want to be going for some fancy knock after you've activated low gravity, you gotta hurry up.
Oh yeah, so first moves on island maps are always really crucial to go
Yeah.
pretty fast.
What did you think of Tita's first move? Do you think he could have done anything different?
I suppose he could have used a rope to knock us more, just do more damage, but I think if you look at what happens in the future, that didn't really affect things. He still can do like a 1-turn kill on all these worms, so that turned out to be about as good as he could do.
Yeah, I mean the plan was pile all 3 of your worms down there. He couldn't quite get it, but I think with a slightly different dynamite drop, he might have been able to as well. Yeah. So I mean, it wasn't a bad idea. On the other hand, that is one thing I noticed about this first round, that by the end of it, Tita still had so many ropes left. He like when he was deep in the late game already, he still had like 3 ropes left. So maybe that is a thing where he could have just used 1 or 2 on the first turn and set it up so that something even bad happened.
Yeah.
For it.
And so here on this turn, I didn't have a way to like kill. I still needed to move my bottom worm Cornto.
Yeah.
So like
He was just trying to play around the pile, right?
Yeah. So I needed to wait a little bit for the pile at the bottom to allow me to kill it. And I was gonna pile that worm to the left, but I noticed he was going next, so it didn't really matter what I did. I could have just shotgunned him, and that probably would have been better.
Yeah, you wanted to go for the pile just in case. Maybe you get him to use a worm select.
Yeah, maybe I get him to use like a rope.
At some point. Yeah.
Yeah, I could have forced him to use a rope if I had pushed him down.
Yeah.
I think Tita had some. I think he did well to not get completely destroyed in this first round. To be honest, considering his placements, you know, he was good tactically to focus on the worms that are in this pit against you, and there was well.
This is really tough. I mean, like, he basically has all his worms trapped in here with me. Like, to escape, he would have to just like kill all my worms. So I mean, it's just bad positions for him.
Well, yeah, but also you had to go for the first turn double kill, and that's, I mean, that wasn't guaranteed. You could have definitely matched that up as well, and not caught in the rope knock, and the rope knock was just perfect, right? And into the LG bat double kill.
Yeah, island maps, you really got to get those first turns down.
Yeah, that is something I've heard you notice. Mention quite a bit. That's basically the only thing you actually practice, right?
Yeah, I was practicing first turns a lot, since those can determine the entire game, basically.
Yeah.
Okay.
I like that intermediate. That's something that's very specific to this scheme, where the first turn is so massively important that it's almost what sets the entire rest of the round up, right?
Yep.
And in a lot of other schemes, you have quite a lot of like rubber banding mechanics where you can come back, right? You can always almost come back in something like Elite and Team 17 as well. Whereas in intermediate, coming back against a decent player, and especially against someone as good as you are, is almost impossible.
Oh, it can be hard. It's to have it. There's often a chance of being able to come back, but only if you are doing every turn just like amazingly. If you know.
Yeah, you gotta basically be playing mistake-free and going for a little more than your opponent, and your opponent has to probably commit some sort of mistake as well at some point, right?
Right. And so I did cows earlier, and crucially I did them in a way to reduce the plop hole at the bottom, because I don't want my worms to be, you know, bowed in there or knocked in there.
Yeah, at this point you know that you're the one that's going to be winning out in this central cave, right? You're going to be the one prevailing, and when that happens, you just want to guarantee as few easy kills for your opponent as you can.
Yeah, basically, I guess the nice part is that because all of Tita's worms are in this cave, I really don't have to think too much about my outside worms. I just need to make sure that he can't say like shotgun out and then shotgun one of them. Which, looking at Gunk, looking at Gunk, maybe you can low gravity shotgun him, but I don't know.
That's the sort of turn that you can almost guarantee your opponent is not going to be going for, because there's just so much else in this central cave to go for, right? And he is trying to salvage it with cows here, and that was pretty good, honestly.
That's pretty good. That was something that, like, it was one of those moves that, like, I think both of us knew that was his only option. He had to use cows there, but it wasn't a perfect cow spot. At most, you could get one kill.
That came up a bunch in later rounds as well, where someone just goes for cows that are maybe a kill and a half.
Yeah,
that's the best that you're gonna get.
Right?
So you gotta go for it.
Yeah, if they're good players, they're not gonna put themselves in vulnerable cow spots too often. So
Gunk gets the turn finally.
And
is he gonna move? I don't think he is.
The only downside of like this whole trapped situation is that I guess my outside worms don't really have much to do, which slows things down and gives Tita an opportunity to like do something.
Yeah, he does have more potential for damage output where all of his worms have access, right? And yours, some of yours just don't. On the other hand, at this point, you were quite far ahead.
I think he's doing the right thing here.
He's connecting them.
Trying to give them even more access to the middle cave.
which is always something I think, like earlier when I was playing Master, you know, and you guys were tuning in, like I had Dub C and Waka that were kind of isolated, and you know, I was like, I still had some worm selects, but I'm always thinking about connecting them, like after you've kind of given me that advice, Cody.
Oh, yeah.
That's good advice. Yeah, that's very good advice for intermediate.
So yeah, basically, you want as many of your worms to be connected as possible most of the time, because they can do things like back each other up,
Yeah.
girder enemy worms more easily, and if another worm comes into that area, that worm's gonna get killed much more easily.
Yeah, you're gonna have 2 attacks on any invading worm right before that worm gets a turn again.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Unless sustainable worm select is used, and that's how you dominate, right?
Mm-hmm.
Where you just defend and you can't be effectively invaded.
Mm-hmm. That's
With
just
this sheep, you weren't too worried about taking that bit of damage there?
No, it's not great because
It does put you below 25, but
yeah, I think I needed to be facing that way to get a sure like 70-ish damage. But it would be nice if I think I would have had to face like left, which I didn't want to do to really escape that. And that would be good because then that would mean Tita can't pull off as easy a double kill. Like, for example, one double kill would be like he grenades Cornto into Yargington, which I thought he was going to do that. Or even maybe shotgun.
When he did go for the kill on Cornto, we were all like, you know,
yeah,
don't open.
Right, that was yeah, it's gonna be very close when it comes up. So this was just an amazing turn.
Yeah, this was the exact damage in your Kagli worm as well.
I'm really surprised he got that. I don't know how that got 73. Like, that's incredible.
Yeah, it must have been 4 damage at some point. Yeah.
Because
you know what to do, Mablak, for this you should press shift plus delete so the health bars are always upright.
Sure, let's see. Oh, but you know an interesting thing, I never look at the health bars. I don't think anyone should for intermediate.
Yeah, I mean that's a pretty good idea actually. Yeah. On some chess playing websites, there's something called Zen mode where you don't see your rating, you don't see who your opponent is, you don't see their rating, you see nothing, just the game. Right?
Interesting.
Just the game of chess.
Okay.
Yeah, that is a concept that's familiar to me. Just ignore everything, focus on the game.
But
I
it's
like how you play without seeing the health bar, so you don't get demoralized if there's a big health difference and things like that. Like, and sometimes I feel like I'm doing really well in an intermatch, and then the health bar pops up, and I realize that I'm really behind on health. But I was like, hang on a minute, I feel like I'm doing really well because it's kind of like worm for worm, toe for toe.
It's about, so like one thing about intermediate is that it is basically entirely about your worm count, the number of worms you have, and
it's more important than
your total health. Your total health does not matter at all, I would say. I don't even look at the health bars. It doesn't help you. So like here, it's like I have 3 full health worms. That's like 6 turns. And then 7 turns because I have a 33 health worm. It's like you sort of count the number of turns it would take to kill all your worms.
Required to kill you off, right? And
that's
that number of turns that actually is the thing that matters.
That's what matters.
What we were saying on the commentary when Tita had one of the round he won. I think he was 6 turns. He had 5 turns to finish the game, and you had 6. So you were only 1 turn behind, you know. And if you pulled off a great move, or he makes that slight mistake, then it's becoming even.
Yep. And sometimes it's hard to like count, but because like it depends on is your 100 worm gonna get killed or not? But
that was an amazing drop down, by the way. I'm surprised you didn't take it. I would have never tried that.
It's because of my monitor. I can just tell pixels.
Oh yeah.
Let's see.
Is that the length of one girder, would you say?
Oh yeah. Let's see. Fall damage. I think it's just a tiny bit over one girder. You take fall damage, one vertical girder.
Yeah, that sounds about right. Yeah.
There are some cool things you can do with mapping out distances with girders. Like Tita did that earlier with his blowtorch.
Yeah.
From Yozzle, like just where Yozzle is right there. It's like one girder length basically. Like at the edge of your worm to the edge of an opponent worm, you'll be able to torch him.
This is the open. He should have mined. He should have mined you.
Ooh, yeah.
Yeah, so the mine has a slightly lower center of the explosion radius and might not have opened here compared to grenade.
Surprised that opened.
Yeah, that would have been the difference. Yeah, it would have been.
Yeah, this was just a very, very slight mistake on Tita's part, but it basically cost him the game, I think.
Well, yeah, and also it mattered on exactly the next turn, right? And
another thing I picked up on as well
was... That
was...
makes it feel even worse.
Once that mistake had opened, and in a couple of turns, he gets a chance, and I was wondering if he would dare to use... I can't remember how many utilities he's got, and I think you might be able to open the weapons and see Mablak on the replay.
Oh, yeah.
But I think I was sort of thinking maybe he could make the long traverse to shark attack, and I don't know if he had that, but to try and get some kind of kill on shark attack once that had opened up. But he didn't go for it, and I thought that would have been something to try and at least keep him back into the game.
I think so, yeah. I don't know what his resources are right now, but he had at least 1 or 2 ropes, and he could have gotten up left. Yeah.
At this point is where I started figuring out that actually Tita still had a bunch of resources left.
He's got bat. He could potentially knock you with a good knock and maybe bat shark attack for a kill.
So on the previous turn with the dynamite, you're trying to go for the full 75 damage, right, on Quinto?
Oh, no. I abandoned that. I was like, I don't see... I probably could have gotten it, but I was like, I'll just keep him piled, and I could also hit him with shard attack potentially.
At this point you were actually so far ahead that it wasn't even worth going for. Yeah, I think.
Sita's saying that he's seen players measure the mole path with girders as well.
Okay, mole paths.
What he means there.
Just the height.
It's the distance that the mole jumps, right? When you fire it, the arc has a certain set distance. But I almost feel like people have been overdoing that. Like everything's getting measured with girders now, including the regular airstrike. And, I don't think that even
weird.
Works, right?
That doesn't work that well because the airstrike is like you kind of just want to aim a little left or right of the worms to do max damage. I mean, I guess if you really need to know the spread of the airstrike.
Yeah, that's what I'm thinking as well. Because first of all, the airstrike, what matters with the airstrike is where you're hitting, where you're contacting the worm with the missiles, right? And sometimes you want 2 missiles to kind of hit one slightly above the worm and the other slightly to the other side.
Yeah.
But also the thing is, the airstrike, just the way it works, the way the aiming of it works is weird in this game. It depends on how high up on your screen you're aiming the arrow, and I feel like most people have no idea that that's the case.
One of my favourite things is aiming airstrike in Elite because you can do some really cool pushes with the instant mines. You know, and I've been I can't remember if it was with you, Gregor, but a few people have kind of commented that I aim the airstrike in quite a strange way. I move my mouth cursor really slowly when I do it, and I don't know if it's a conventional way, but there's just something about it that's I don't know any measurements. It's just down to feel for me.
Okay.
Yeah, that is actually something I've noticed with you and aiming airstrike, is that you aim them very differently to the way I do. I aim them, I feel like higher up. I aim them trying to think where they're gonna come from in the air, whereas you're focusing more on where you're pointing your arrow.
Yeah.
Yeah. Where they're gonna explode.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, everyone's got his own style for this, so I mean, I'm not that surprised, you know.
Yeah.
Yeah, so I did like this petrol here. As he was going for the turn, I was trying to figure out what's the way that he can kill you off here, and the petrol was the obvious one, but
That
then
was
he
bad
fell
luck on
in
that
with you.
round.
Yeah, I'm wondering if there's ideally he would have wanted to throw the petrol like higher up so that it covers some land and you can't actually get to both worms, but that wouldn't kill my worm there. So I think there was just kind of
probably
nothing.
better got the damage then, yeah.
Yeah. Also on my turn before this, so like one of the golden rules of like intermediate, you want to go for like as many kills as you can, of course. So like on my last turn before this, I went for one kill. I could, I could, yeah, I could have gone for a shotgun kill that kills Quinto and that other worm. I chose not to just because, it would have probably costed me like a rope. I didn't want to do that, but that would have been another option, I think.
Yeah, you
so
a bunch of stuff left this round as well. In the end, didn't you? Like at least the rope, and I think maybe 2.
I had, I think a rope. I don't think I had too much left.
Yeah, but Tita specifically had a bunch of stuff left, and that's I think one of the ways in which he could have played that round slightly more optimally. On the other hand, it was a very unconventional map with the central cave and none of his worms.
Yeah, I would say he had bad positions on the first map. I lucked out.
Yeah. I mean, it was your round to lose, but that's kind of expected because you were the one who got the first turn.
Yeah, I got the first turn, and yeah, if you go on an island map,
it wouldn't have been that weird. Right?
Yeah, your chances are just higher to win if you go first on an island map as well. Yeah. So, okay, so we're on to round 2.
All right, round 2. This is the one where Tita starts first.
Okay, so Tita starts first.
Some intermediate questions for you, Mablak.
Let me see. I need to move my. Sorry, one sec. Let me just move my chat so I can like see it.
Hi, Psyche's on as well.
Oh, hey, Connor.
Just some some kind of intermediate questions for you. Like first turns. What's your opinions on like how many worm selects? I've been in situations where I've had like really bad placements and I've used like all my selects to stop like instant kills to make it harder for them to kill, but I guess that's going to backfire in the future. Like would you, if you can get a double kill, do you just go for the kill and keep your worms in bad positions even if you know your opponent can do a double kill back the next turn? Like, do you sometimes think about defensive first turns to hide worms and still go for an attack? Or like, is there a fine balance between that? Like, because like you said, the important thing is worm count, so you want to try and like stop some of your worms dying on your first turn if they're in awful placements. Like,
yeah,
there must be a fine balance on how
so,
much
like,
to defend and attack.
Yeah, so that is really important, like your worm select usage, especially on island maps where it can get crazy. Like, you want to use all your worm selects on turn 1 just to save all your worms, but so like one good heuristic that you can pretty much always like abide by this: never use all 3 worm selects on the first turn. This is just a rule it works. There's only going to be like, only if you're playing some really crazy ploppy map are you going to use all 3 worm selects. You pretty much never want to use all 3, so that narrows down your choices. So you can use 1 or 2.
Yeah.
So
I used all 3 when I just had awful placements, and I tried to protect as many worms.
Yeah,
yeah.
So like, if you're in a case where you feel like you want to use all 3, you are gonna have to take a hit, I think, pretty much always. Unless, I mean, there's exceptions. There's always exceptions, but I think you probably want to look more at taking a hit. Like, maybe your opponent's gonna do a double kill. But maybe you can just... The nice thing about that, though, is that if you know you're going to take a big hit next turn, just, like, don't even use... Right? Yeah, like, you might even just not even use a worm select, because, like, you can see your opponent's going to take all their time just going for this one pile. Maybe use 1 worm select, or maybe don't even use any. And then maybe you have a double kill that you can get, and just do that, and that keeps things even. That's usually one thing to look for. If you don't have a double kill that you can do on your first turn, though, that kind of sucks. But you might still have to take a hit. But yeah, usually you'll be able to get all your double kills out of the way. If you can't, it is, yeah, like if you would need to use 3 worm selects to get all of your double kills out of the way, then most of the time you just can't do it. You have to take the hits and just find a way to go on the offensive for your opponent.
And it's like that game I played with Pavel B. Like, you know, he's a great player. Like, we're a really tough opponent, and like he could have used a worm select to stop me doing a double kill in return, but we were kind of going toe for toe, like taking worms out every turn, double kills, single kills, and it got to like 4-4. And I was just wondering, like, maybe could have he played that differently? I played that differently. I think it's like something with experience in intermediate that I'm not there yet, but like obviously you have, and just knowing when to decide to like go on the offense or go on the defense is you know, I guess it just comes with experience.
I mean, yeah, it's like you kind of just want to stay ahead. Think about the I don't know what word we would use, but like just think about what the turn count is to kill your opponent versus the turn count necessary to kill you. You just want to stay one step ahead if you can. And
or more.
Yeah, ideally more, yeah. So yeah, it's that's one way to sort of assess, like, are you ahead or are you behind? Like,
Yeah,
and you don't have to count
I'm just thinking there is. Sorry, what?
Oh, you don't have to like count every turn. Like, 7 worms left.
Yeah.
Usually, it's just like you can count like how many kills have been done for the first part of the game at least. Like, oh, he did 1 kill. I need to do 1 kill at least. Keep things going.
Yeah. And this is something that you can build a feeling for as well. You don't have to specifically count, right? You just kind of take a look at the map and you see roughly where you are, right? Which of my worms can be killed off on the next turn, and that's usually, for me at least, that's good enough, right? I don't get it wrong by more than half a worm usually, right?
Yeah.
I think another thing I've felt is like I remember hearing your advice on always going for an easy free kill, but sometimes there's worms which are like in the low on this is an island map.
Yeah,
there's worms that are like on the edges that sometimes they could be an easy kill, but you've got to go down there and you could either get killed back or you could leave them there.
You're exposing stuff more. That is part of the equation as well.
Yeah, those ones depend. Yeah,
utilities as well. Like they've got to waste a utility to get out of that position.
Yeah,
which is always a good thing.
Yeah, so like in those situations, so like in the situations where there's an easy kill at like the bottom of a map, like lower left-hand corner, lower right-hand corner of an island map, for example. So I usually favor going for those kills if, like, let's say there's a double kill down there. Definitely go for that if there's no other double kills. If there's like,
go for it anyway.
Yeah, I mean, if there's like a double kill on top and also a double kill you can get in like a corner, go for the top one just to put the pressure on the lower worms. But yeah, I mean, like, it's perfectly fine to like go down to them sometimes. You do want to make them waste resources, but like sometimes it's worth it to go down to them, even though it's like, you know, they should be coming up to me, wasting their resources to come up to the top of the map. Sometimes you want to go down, sometimes you don't. I guess it just depends.
Yeah. There is another aspect, the first turn situation I wanted to bring up, which is there's a dimension of turn time as well, because first turns in intermediate get so complex. Like if you wanted to optimize them, you'd almost always be using up all your turn time, all 45 seconds of your turn time, and that is something that comes into play. Because if you specifically wanted to optimize every first turn, that's also risky, right? Because you could leave so much for your opponent to get done if you don't make it in the time that you have, right? And that's part of the equation that guides you to playing slightly safer than maybe would be optimal, right?
Yeah, and we can look at Tita's first turn. I think that comes into play on Tita's first turn right here. So,
all right,
so he has some worms that he really needs to get out of the way. I'm just looking over.
on Discord, this dead code was saying that Gregor's much lower than
Oh, I had
uh,
my
than
RC client.
than Mablak
Yeah,
on the
that's
levels.
something you can look at in Discord settings and like click on my name and see whether
Okay.
my volume bar is all the way up or not.
Okay, one sec. Let's
Yeah,
see.
because Discord does love to switch around the sliders for the volumes, for me at least.
I see. Let's see. I just click on your name.
Yeah, it should be there somewhere. In this
Uh,
voice call, there's usually
let's see
an
here.
icon where you can click on, and it shows you all the participants in the voice call, and then you click on the name.
Okay, one sec. Participants. Oh, wait, I'm clicking on
Yeah,
your
there should
name,
be some
but
volume.
It was
Oh,
just
what if you right click me? If
Yeah,
you're on
oh, right
PC.
click. Oh, okay. Oh, there we go. Right click. Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Okay, there it is. User volume. All right, pumping you up to. How about this?
Yeah, I know. David's saying it's much lower than yours, but I don't know what he's saying for chicken.
Okay, is it better now?
Well, they'll let us know.
Okay, let us know. I'll turn their volume up if anyone thinks they're quiet.
Yeah.
Okay.
I mean, you should check chicken's volume as well, just in case it's very low, right?
I guess I've been a bit quiet. He did say about 20 minutes ago, so he might not.
Okay,
still be
I'll
on.
do the same thing. Yeah.
Yeah, but who there's Psychotropic and a few other people are on the
Oh yeah, this is someone I'd seen in Twitch chat before, but I don't think I know what their worm they nickname is.
No, I don't know who that is either. Looks very Hispanic.
Yeah, it does.
So what did you think of the? I know we've been talking a lot, distracting you, Mablak, from the analysis of your CWT game. Sorry.
No.
What did you think of the placements
fine.
on this game and with Tita's first turn? When I remember watching, I was expecting him to go for a knock on Yarrington and Gunk.
Yeah.
Especially because Yarrington's your first worm.
Yeah.
You know, and
So this is
you're going to umpile straight away.
Yeah. So this is the juicy zone over here. So we can see, and Tita does have some worms he might want to get out of the way. Like, so the Sedimo and Ultimo, those two worms are, and Quinto, like that does look like a scary like cow spot to me. But he doesn't have.
There's also Sexto at the top, right? And that's, I think, something that I noticed as this round was beginning, which if it had gone for the rope knock on Yargington and into Gunk and maybe do something with Cornto Joe as well, then it could have been the Sexto worm doing all of that, maybe. And he saves him from a pretty easy plop up there as well.
So yeah, down here, like, I was really scared that he was going to use like 3 ropes, knock.
Yeah.
So like knock Yargington, Gunk, and Cornto. So like if you were gonna go AWOL here, if you were going to just go for it, what you could do is activate low gravity. That would probably knock, hit the mine next to Cagley.
Yeah.
That would probably knock him down, I think. He tries it without low gravity. It doesn't work. Use a rope to knock Yargington down to the barrel. Use a rope to knock Gunk, and then a third rope to knock Cornto.
Right?
You could try that. I mean, like, that would potentially be a quad kill if it worked.
Yeah.
I mean,
what with the LG on gravel? Like, how would you get 4 kills?
I think one thing you could do, like, before going all in on that, what you could do is just, like, use low gravity, hit Cagley, and then just see if he goes down. And if he goes down, then you're like, okay, I'm all in. I'm going to, like, use 3 ropes. But if he doesn't, then be and I'll do, like, option B, you know?
When you say hit Cagley, do you mean just activate the mine?
Get the mine.
Oh, yeah. You could also knock Cagley down. You could, like, do a rope knock, too. But that seems like...
Maybe,
yeah. I mean, he could also, with this worm, he could bungee knock Yargington. That would save you a rope.
That would have been a good call.
Yeah.
Like I
Yeah.
would have probably, if I was playing this first turn, I think I would have gone for a knock on Yargington and a knock on Gunk. So I used like 2 ropes and gone for a double kill.
Yeah. That
I
would
don't think
make
I
a
would
lot
have.
of sense. I think
Yeah.
yeah. Well, I think actually you could, I mean, you could get the triple kill with just 2 ropes. Like Yargington gets a bungee knock, Gunk 1 rope, Cornto 1 rope. I mean, that would be pretty good. I think that's sort of what I was afraid of the most.
Yeah,
But
I think if you're going for that sort of turn where it's like not quite all the way in, you do probably use one of your you hide this worm and then use one of the probably set him up to do all the rope knocking with, because otherwise I feel like you are going to be, once you make the hole next to the barrel, you're going to be very very susceptible to getting blocked yourself, right?
Do you use
In retaliation.
would you use Sexto at the top just to stop that kill, or would you think
Yeah,
bringing 3
maybe that's
worms
one. Yeah,
down?
maybe.
I
you
don't
know,
know. I mean, I would want to use Sedimo if I could, just get him unpiled. But
Yeah.
I mean, yeah. I mean, you could move
I was really
Sexto.
I was really surprised with his first turn, and even this
Yeah.
dynamite. I think the nerves got to him. I probably would have gone for the
Yeah.
shotgun because of the wind as well and the barrel.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Dyna makes sense.
I mean, this
but
was such a complex first turn with so many options, and I'm not surprised that he wasted like the first 15, 20 seconds of it just thinking about it, right? And at that point, he just didn't think he had the time
Yeah.
to go for anything
So-
fancy.
one quick thing, golden rule of intermediate, in my opinion, unless there's something preventing you from doing this, get a kill on the first turn. At least get a kill. And that's something that Tito was doing here. He's like, okay, I'm going to wait a second to deal with the pile and at least get a kill. That's a move I know is a good move. So I mean, that's something you want to do. Aim for 1 kill and then be like, you know, can I aim for more?
And he saved the rope. You know, he didn't use a select either, which I think. Did he use a
He
select?
didn't use one, right?
Yeah.
Didn't he?
Use 1,
You
yeah.
can check this.
Okay.
Yeah, so I was just thinking that on the other hand, everything you say is true, of course, but that's such a general rule for intermediate, whereas this is the CWT final, and he's playing against Mablak, who I think almost everyone expected was going to be the favorite coming into this. And if that's the case, am I maybe not thinking that I do have to be going for slightly more than just that one single kill
what I mean is,
on
yeah.
first turn, right?
Oh, yeah. I mean, like, 1 kill is the minimum that you should be going for.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Did his lack of aggression on that first turn change your game plan? What were you expecting? And you know, you probably weren't expecting to have Yarrington as your first turn. Like, what were you thinking of doing as your first turn before? You know, assuming the worst from Tita.
I mean,
Were you
if he
actually
was,
assuming the worst?
I was expecting, because he's a very aggressive player. He knows how, he's like good at rope knocking.
Yeah.
I would have expected him to.
I bring that up because I think the way Tita wins CWT final is have very very strong first turns and openings where he can't in the late game. He's so far ahead that he just can't throw the game anymore.
I would have. I mean, yeah. If he had gotten a triple kill, I would have just lost. I mean, there's nothing I could do.
Yeah, I think so. Yeah.
Which is again why it's a lot of it's about the first turn. It's like super important.
I mean, he would play so well otherwise that I'm surprised that the first turns is where he decided to play it safe, because he was on point for almost the entire rest of his game, right? Except for those 2 major mistakes in the one in the cavern round and one on the island.
Mm-hmm. And so because I moved Cornto, and I moved Yargington on my last turn, I expected him to. This actually was what threw my expectations here. I expected him to cow Cornto and Cagley, my 2 worms right here.
Yeah.
And he didn't do that. He didn't do that, which really threw me for a loop. I just read him wrong, I guess. But
he does eventually go for that, though, right?
He does eventually.
Well, so like basically, what was really distracting for me here is that like I was expecting Gunk to be up. I was expecting Cagley to be dead. And Gunk to go here. Yeah. And then, so like...
This is a pretty big mistake from you.
Oh yeah, this is a big mistake. And luckily it's not too big, because anything I did there, like any escape I made, I think he would have gotten a double kill in response. But it is bad in that he can now shotgun me and then do an extra shotgun.
Yeah, he almost doesn't need to use any resources for that double kill now. Whereas otherwise, he might have needed a rope at least.
Yeah. But you only want to do something crazy like a last second select worm if you like know you're gonna get something good. I was pretty sure it was.
I mean, you did get a double kill there. The cows weren't.
The cows were good, but
this is what everyone said on the commentary. Mablak was that, you know, you made a mistake, but you still get a double kill when you make a mistake.
Yeah. It was because I mean it's like I was pretty sure the move was gonna work, and you know, taking the extra visualization time can help you ensure that you know a move is gonna work. So I mean, I took a long time to switch, but that helped increase my belief that the cows would work.
Yeah, and they did work, right? So this is something that you're so experienced with that you kind of know, right? At some point, how long they have to take to be sure about this. And apparently, in that situation, you took
40 seconds. Yeah,
the last seconds of your turn.
It takes.
You got there. You got there.
Yeah.
Is this the round that Tita won? Just out of interest.
Yeah.
It is, yeah.
Mm. So yeah, that although I got the cows, that mistake of where I landed may have been the deciding factor. And here, this is like, so at this point, it's sort of like there's not a ton of kills open. It's kind of getting into shotgun land where you just try to do 50 damage.
Stay consistent, right?
And let's like quickly count. Actually, let's do some counting here. So like,
this is what we did on the commentary. We were counting to see. Sorry, if you pause it, we were counting to see if he could get ahead with his worm order to attack the pile, which I believe he does.
So yeah, let's look. So wait, so my worm, just starting on the left side. So shard attack has. Wait, I need to use alt delete here. So shard attack, my worm has 100, so that's 2 turns to kill.
Yeah.
His leftmost worm, that's 1 turn. So wait, I'll just add up my worm. So like 2 turns from left to right, 2 turns, 2 turns, 2 turns, 1 turn, maybe 2 turns. My 69 health worm, if I protect him well, maybe it's 2 turns, but maybe not.
And the rightmost one is almost surely going to be 2 turns, right?
Yeah. Okay, so I'm at 2, 4, 6, 8. So that's like either 9 or 10. And then for Tito, we got 1. So 1 plus 2 for the 98 health worm, plus 2 for the 100 health worm, plus 2 for Quattro, plus 2 for Quinto. So that's 9, I guess. 2, 4, 6, 8, 9. So I feel like I'm in an okay position here. And after this,
but he has sort of why that previous turn with the cows turned this round around, because previously before that turn he had an HP lead, but he was behind actually, just positionally and in terms of how many kills it's going to take to finish off his burns. But you were the one getting the initiative as well. And so I do think that it was that term where you piled yourself next to the barrel that actually changed the math on this round.
Probably, yeah.
Did you have a select at this point? Did you think about the fact that he could cow corn toe?
Oh, yeah.
You know, because he's going to get a kill with the cows. So did you?
Yeah, at this point,
to unpile.
Well, at this point, he has 2 worms in the pile, so I'm like, I don't know if he's gonna what he's gonna do there.
Yeah, it would have taken more resources than he was happy to use, but maybe he waits until he gets the first turn with one of those worms and then moves the other one around away, right, and then does the cows.
Mm-hmm. So, okay, so it's let's assume that Yazel is a 1-turn kill. So it's 9 turns versus 9 turns, and he's going right now. So that means he is ahead by like 1 turn, basically.
Yeah, so this is where he takes initiative on the map of this round. Yeah.
And I think what I was thinking in my head was
Yeah, at this point you were both trying to slow the game down a little bit though, because I think the previous like 4 turns were kind of iffy. Like both of you just did things where you weren't exactly sure whether or not that was the right play or the best play in that situation. I think that's quite often when intermediate players just decide, all right, fine, let's slow this down. Let's just do a few shotgun turns, right?
Yeah, at this point, yeah. So like, if you're kind of like not sure what the outcome is going to be, sometimes it's nice to take longer turns so that you're waiting for sudden death more. Because you're like, am I actually ahead or am I not? So here, I think what I'm hoping is that I can just have this worm in a nice enough position that he won't be one turn killed, but it's kind of risky.
Yeah, I think you were actually in the end with this swarm clusterable maybe, but I mean you can't play around everything as well.
Yeah.
You hide well though, to stop any kind of damage on the head.
Yeah, I think you can get a dynamite on me probably, but
I remember trying to do that against you in one of our CWT matches.
Oh yeah.
Like I had quite a few worms that were like 69 and low 70s, and I just kind of hid them in blowtorch tunnels and places so that you couldn't get that kill.
Yeah, blowtorch tunnels great for that. Yeah, that's a smart thing to do if you have a nice hide that you can go to.
So I think we'd worked out that because we were like, why isn't he not using his select worms to attack your pile? But he knew his turn order that he would get. He gets Segundu.
Yeah, it was a sort of situation where both of you were like trying to see who would flinch first, and Tita wasn't that worried about hurrying up with the pile attack, because he knew that if you wanted to save that from happening, you'd be using your worst legs. And is he that sad to see that happen? He's probably not, right? Because at this point the round slowed down, and it was gonna go into sudden death probably.
Yeah, so at this point I'm starting to feel the heat, and I can sort of see that I'm probably on the defensive and not the offensive. But I don't have... So like the thing here is that all of our worms are sort of in these landlocked positions. We can't get like plops on each other. We can't send each other into the water.
Yeah, this is the sort of situation where you hate being behind math-wise.
Oh yeah, exactly. So
we were surprised with your jetpack.
Yeah. It's I could have used a worm select. I didn't want to. I was like, okay, I'll just block him in case he wants to do something crazy. But I just didn't see. I think it was solely because I needed to hang on to that worm select just in case it would prove useful later. I didn't need the jetpack quite as much as the worm select.
Yeah, I mean, it could have helped with this pile eventually as well. It's just Tita then decided to actually go for the cows now.
Yeah, so
you should have used worm select and unpiled on that turn instead of moved Elvis. And
maybe I forget what. Well, I'm forgetting what Tita.
Else.
I'm forgetting what Tita actually does here, or what the outcome is.
And I thought he would have cowed from the other direction as well.
I was worried about cows. I wasn't sure what he was gonna do. Oh, okay, yeah. I think that was.
This was a decent cow turn, because the kill on this on four
that wasn't very.
Was pretty much guaranteed.
Mm-hmm. So yeah, that makes sense. I think I was kind of hoping that it would be a cow split where they would both live, but he did it smartly. He did it like
he
guaranteed
played
kill.
It safe there.
I think one thing that I've been doing in intermediate, and I don't know if it's great tactics or not, but like if there is a chance, and Daria was saying it, like never let someone attack like an easy pile of like if 2 worms are going to die to protect that worm count, but you're in a position where 2 worms weren't going to die, just 1 worm was.
Yeah.
So like it wasn't a huge loss.
Yeah.
Like you didn't have to unpile, and maybe that select could come in handy if you get into like some kind of like block war, or you're down on utilities, or he is somehow and stuff.
Yeah.
I mean, this comes down to such slim margins. It's difficult to just know what the right strategic approach was always, right?
Yeah,
And this
I
is
think
just something that over time, as you play more intermediate rounds, you kind of build up a feeling for it.
yeah, I do think, but yeah, like I mean, seeing the outcome of those cows, I probably should. It would have been nice if I had switched to Cornto, but at the same
Yeah.
time, I don't know what I would have done. Like, there's not all I could have done
Yeah.
to his worms would probably be Battle Axe. I could actually
Yeah.
kill that worm and see what happens out of that. I'd pretty much be hoping for him to make a mistake because I know he would like try to knock me. So that would be a possibility because sometimes you can
You know,
pick an option
when
that
you-
lets you get a kill.
yeah. And when you used Elvis to jetpack, would blocking be better just to kind of force him into a last select situation, or like? Obviously, it took one turn. It reduces
Yeah.
a turn in kind of getting to the end. Like
Yeah, I
you
could.
earlier.
Oh, let's see. With when I had Elvis, I could have. So I used jetpack. I could have just laid something on him and then flown away to make him use an extra resource. Probably that could have been good. Maybe.
Yeah, I mean, this was a very complex map where you maybe could have drawn it out and gone for something in sudden death. The thing is, all of the worms and all of the action was happening there in the middle, and everyone had access. So
That's the
maybe
yeah.
dark siding this round was never in the cards, right?
Yeah. Oh, and hey, Ruffled in the chat. Let's
No,
see.
hey.
Oh,
there's
and
Toby
Toby
as
Trigger.
well.
Oh, and Toby, what's
I
up?
think I saw him on the speedrunning Discord plotting and
Oh, yeah.
figuring out stuff for worms too.
Yeah, we're yeah.
Yeah, that must have just ended now.
Yeah, lots of stuff to optimize for worms too right now.
Oh god, yeah.
Oh,
Do you
let's
find,
see.
like, I know I saw in the speedrun chat, were you feeling a bit too much like you played a little bit too much Worms 2 before this final?
Actually, I did notice like, wow, the rope feels totally different. Like I had to make sure not to play any worms too.
Yeah.
Uh, the rope is like
That was a couple
so
days ago
different.
now, where Asai mentioned that I actually just shouldn't be doing worms 2 right now.
Yeah, no, I tried to
Yeah, so
not
this is
play.
where I was thinking maybe Tita was gonna go for the cluster on Yalzur. It wasn't guaranteed to get the kill though, but on the other hand, he wasn't getting. I mean, he ended up going for the bow, which turned out to be amazing. But I don't think that was something that he actually planned for. He just thought of it during that turn.
We were
Yeah.
like, why is he bowing? Like, let's just go for shotgun. Like, get the pile, go for shotgun. But this second shot
Yeah,
is
I
just
think
amazing.
shotgun was safe at the end. Yeah.
I honestly I can't believe like this is like so unnecessarily risky, but he did a good job.
Yeah.
It's just like
I mean, it's
'cause, like, my
basically
worm-
shot round out.
it's not that the shot itself is that risky. It's just that my worm is pressed up against the land, and you can't really tell how pressed up he is super easily.
Yeah.
I think it's just like if I was just a little bit left, I could have totally not gone in, not
Yeah,
bounced right.
And your worm order was so it wasn't a permanent pile as well. Like you would have been unpiled straight away even if you had gone for the pile.
Hmm.
Well,
Did you-
yeah, but at
did
this
you-
point, he was so far ahead that he doesn't need to go for anything as fancy as that longbow. I feel like,
You were trying to go for a kill here.
yeah,
Cody,
try to
like-
get the counter longbow.
Yeah, I'm not. Yeah, shotgun was the safest way. So yeah.
Yeah, yeah, it didn't even matter that you were damaging yourself here, but I mean, this round was kind of lost at this point.
Yeah, it was just nice and safe.
Yeah.
kill as well. I don't think I could have pulled that off. Not at all.
Ah, you would have. You just
I
wouldn't
don't-
have gone for it, I think.
I don't.
Yeah,
I
that's-
don't see those kind of shotgun pushes, to be honest.
Shotgun. I think like you do want to get like, you do want to like do shotguns, like as many creative shotguns as you can, just to like get that sort of
Yeah, just for practice.
putt golf level feel
Yeah.
to the shotgun. Like that's kind of what you need to have like for that weapons because it just used so much.
Yeah.
I guess I'm not used to like using it where I'm going for the push that's also going to cause damage on me. 'Cause
Yeah.
I'm always just thinking like, oh, don't take damage and shoot
Yeah.
yourself. Shotgun. Like you're using it to push the worm, like you said, putt golf.
Oh yeah, it's like it's good to just like play games and just like try to take those creative shots that you're not sure are gonna work, and then like you can get some like better shotgun skills, honestly, if you always try those like crazy shots. I mean, not in like serious games all the time, but in practice.
I think what really did it for me was just watching Lacoste's movies, right? Where he has entire segments of those
He's great.
Costage movies where he's just going for the most creative shotguns of all time.
Yeah,
And,
he's
once you see that, you can kind of it's obvious the value it has, right? Because it's a weapon that comes in infinite supply, and it also just comes up so often that you go for shotguns. And so out of all the skills to optimize it intermediate, this is one of the top ones, I think.
Mav, would you say that you like, you're doing a lot of speed runs and things like that. Do you still go on Wormnet and play like intermediate one-on-one against other players? Like, how often are you playing into? Because I know
I did a little bit, but not much. Like, yeah, I posted a few games here and there, but sometimes just with random people, just to like.
You can also have a bunch of other things that you're doing on worms and off worms. So, I mean, it's never going to be as often as you used to, right?
Yeah. I've been mostly preoccupied with the speedrun stuff. So I haven't been needing to, like, go online that much. But I'll probably play some, like, ONL games in the near future and that sort of thing. But
everyone in the ONL community would be really pleased to see you being active in it. Like,
yeah,
it might be too much of a hope, but Jabash needs to lose his streak.
Yeah, what the hell?
Has lost, I think, hasn't he? Because he did lose one game, one match against, who was it again?
So and also I guess like like Tita's not playing ONL. There's a lot of CWT participants that aren't active in ONL, but it's just Worms. We know how the online like. It's great that we've got Discord and
just
Twitch
like, yeah, I know. It's like every extra person active is like a plus for sure.
Yeah. I felt like that block, you blocked yourself in. Me and Gregor were saying on the chat, like it was bad. You were trying to get him to shoot the barrel and it wasn't going to kill him, and then maybe you could get SD and go for a double kill or something, or like you.
Well, one thing.
That barrel
so.
Block.
Yeah, so one thing I was going to do here before I make at least to draw it out a little bit more, because, I mean, he can obviously kill me with Kamikaze if he wants to try, but just...
Peter was very shy about his Kamikazes, though. He just wasn't going for them. Is that something that you noticed during the final?
Yeah, a little bit. He could have gone for, like, one or two. So, like, here, what a decent plan would be, probably, is to make a torch hole left and then a mine to do a mine escape, so that like you lay the mine, then on your next turn you activate it and you can escape in that same turn. So here I'm tentatively going for it, but I do realize around here he could just teleport in, which he does, and block me. And he still has a worm select, so that was just a big mistake. But I think either way, all I'd be doing is drawing it out. So.
Well, yeah, the reason you draw it out is because
just for a chance.
Always the possibility that some huge mistake happens, right? And you're pretty good at drawing those out, so you gotta at least try.
But the other thing that I was thinking, so right here, what I was also thinking was lay a mine that is just barely gonna hit the oil drum. So, like, that would also be another way to escape, because I don't know... although, I think he could... so his counter to that would probably be a girder, I think. And I would still be dead, I think. But that would potentially be a thing I could try. I don't know if there's
in a situation like this, you don't have many good options. So whatever option you can think of, you probably just go for it, right? Because there's not going to be that much stuff.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, pretty much. And yeah, it's GG.
Yeah, he kind of saw through all of this though, and then there just wasn't anything here. Yeah, you try and go for some sort of fancy rope knock here, but like even if you manage to get past him,
it's like,
what was even the plan, right?
Yeah, not much I could do.
Yeah.
I could maybe like if I got
How many ropes
out of
do you
here,
have left?
just one rope.
Oh wow.
So if I got out of here, maybe what I could do is go a bit right and well, no, I don't know if I have an idea really.
Yeah, I mean, he also still had a bunch of stuff left, didn't
He has a worm select, which is the main thing.
Oh, man.
Yeah.
You can open up the weapons and switch between the teams to see what each other have.
Yeah, that is one of the issues with playing and streaming the game at a lower resolution.
Oh,
is
does
that
he
the
not have a
weapon
worm select
value
here?
is
I thought he had a
really-
worm select.
So then you can see if you click on the blue and red, you
Yeah,
can switch to
yeah,
see
yeah.
two
At the
weapons.
bottom.
Oh, he didn't have a worm select. Sorry, I was mistaken. But I
Yeah,
think
you used it, though,
actually in the moment though, I think at that time I actually thought he did have a worm select, which
Yeah.
oh well. Either way.
I mean, could it change something? He did still have ropes though, so he can always just reach you almost anywhere on the map.
Yeah.
I think.
Oh yeah. Okay, so let's see. So that's round 2.
All right, let me just take a quick BRB.
Sure.
The sun has just set where you are, Cody.
Have you seen? Yeah.
I can just see it. When we started streaming, it was daylight, and now it's darkness.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Taking our time.
So, what were your thoughts on the placements and things? You know, you got first turn. There's some we felt like you didn't optimally make the most of. I can't remember now if I could be incorrect here, but it felt like you didn't make the most of this. Like you made a bit of a mistake again on this first turn.
Yeah. Let's see. So yeah, on this map, the positions are not too bad for me.
There's that knock on Elvis and Penguin that he can do. I think, do you unpile them now? Or
Yeah,
you've
let's.
got to go over it and you attack.
Yeah, there's no point in. I could unpile Penguin and Elvis, but I'm not really worried. Unless he wants to use cows on them, because that could double kill him in one turn.
Yeah, and he can't get that. Yeah.
Yeah, so he can't kill Penguin and Elvis in one turn. So I'm like, okay, I'll just leave him for now.
And then you've seen all these worms on the other side, the mine, the 3 barrels, there's a lot of temptation over there.
So this mine's a little bit, I was pretty sure if I detonated it, it would detonate the barrel. I think I had a little bit of doubt, but I think it would. So if I think I gave myself not enough time to think this through. But one thing I could have done is knock. Well, I could have actually knocked 3 worms here. I could have knocked Terciero, Quinto, and Segundo, and maybe I could have done that with. Well, that probably would be 3 ropes, wouldn't it? Although I would say that would maybe be a rare justified use of 3 ropes, just knowing that.
Yeah, it is a lot of resources, but on the other hand, it is a cavern round. On caves, I feel like ropes are slightly less valued than you'd value them on an island. Right?
So you can kind of look at your worm placement to see how many ropes you can use. So I'm just looking over here and looking at the layout of the map.
Yeah, where else am I going to be needing ropes, right?
Pavel B, I think Pavel B is Pavel. I'm not 100% sure, but he's saying you could go for a quad kill here on this turn.
Oh, quad kill. I mean, if you knocked Quattro into, yeah.
Did you bat Semito into the pile? Maybe, I don't know.
Yeah, Cody, I was gonna say you should be using the S key on your keyboard to pause the game, and then you can open your weapon panel when you're paused. Whereas if you're using the escape button, then it doesn't really work.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, this is better.
That is better. So yeah, quad kill seems like that would take. Wouldn't that take even more than 3 ropes, maybe?
He's thinking quad kill on the right side, I think, maybe. Where maybe thinking the dynamite actually works there, Because if you knock Elvis and Penguin to the right and drop the dynamite so it's intersecting with them, you maybe can get the flop, right?
I was pretty sure that you couldn't, but I mean, maybe if you do that and they go like straight up, so like you go.
Yeah. That's what I'm thinking. Yeah.
Yeah, I guess you
Either
could. That
straight up, or it's slightly to
yeah,
the right, and then they bounce down into the water.
yeah. I was feeling like probably that's too risky because it's just a weird angle. It looks like they're gonna probably survive, but it's probably like that could be something to TA. I think you could do it.
Yeah. I think it's worth checking out. Yeah. Although I'm still not sure where exactly the other two kills are coming from, because
I think Pavel was saying if you get the knock, like you've knocked one, so if you knock another worm and you could knock the third worm without setting off the mine, then you could like do an explosion on Setimo to send him to activate the mine. So like you do 3 knocks, then you go over Setimo and try and push him over to set off the mine if you didn't.
Yeah, I mean, you could just place a grenade to the right of Setimo.
Yeah, so like the thing, I think
you could also get a fancy knock on the mine and get even more damage that way.
Well, I do like the idea of like, so actually I'm not quite sure if Quinto enters the equation here, but like the idea of maybe low gravity bow doing like segundo into terciero and also setimo, and then all you have to do is like just touch the mine and that would do a lot. So that would be like kind of a potential triple kill. I would have to be 100% sure the mine is gonna activate.
Because if you're only using the LG and the bow, right, you're almost not using any resources, and that's maybe valuable here.
That would, yeah, if I could pull that off, that would be pretty good. I think I could probably pull that off. One thing about that is that you wouldn't really want to activate the mine along the way, which would be a danger. Like I shoot Setimo, hits terciero, activates the mine, then I only get like maybe a double kill.
But what if you started this on the left side and you go for you activate LG, you go for the first arrow on Segundo and then jump over and then do the second arrow on Setimo? Because I think that's the way to play it safe with the mine explosion.
Yeah, that seems possible.
You could also be triggering the mine with Segundo as soon as you're bowing him to the right. And, wow. I mean, it's kind of fancy. It is fancy.
Yeah. That all seems possible. So I'm kind of going for like something that looks a little more sure. Like I know I'm gonna do damage here.
Yeah. I mean, this was a pretty tricky knock as well because you need to get it exactly right.
Yeah.
That dino miss and then the jump.
Yeah. So I get the mine. I was hoping to involve the mine.
Yeah, again though, like you make an error and you still pull off a good turn, but like
that's like so like I at least had some improv skills there to use the mine, get damage, and that's actually not that bad because
the idea was there. The idea was good, and because the idea was good, and the idea was good because you took your time to think of it, right?
Well, it's like I guess the nice thing is like, if I use a Dyna there, I'm going to do a pretty good amount of damage, even if I totally fuck it up.
Yeah,
so
whatever happens, right?
What did you think of Tita's first turn?
Oh, let's see. So he does go for the knock.
Yeah, he goes all the way to the right.
He used a select. Did he use a select?
Yeah. Or...
And he missed the knock.
Quite that knock, though.
Did he?
Why did he use a select there? Did he use a select?
You can go back with the R key and then skip the turn.
You can just open up the weapons and see if he's used it.
Oh yeah, Wait. Oh wait. Oh. He started with Primero in the upper right, so he's just select. Okay, so I guess I'm wondering. Let's see. Did he have?
I guess because he didn't want to bring Primero down. Like, it didn't
Well, like,
matter for him to move that 11 HP worm. Oh no, because they were piled, weren't they? Sorry, my mistake.
Yeah. So these were like not great positions for Tita, just because like he really didn't have a kill he could get on the first turn, like an easy one, like, and that's kind of rare.
But yeah, but on the other hand, you technically didn't get a kill in your first turn either, so he's
Yeah,
still
I mean, I had,
probably
yeah, but
moving up, right?
it was an
He might
option
have-
for me, so I had better placement.
Maybe if maybe his plan was to suicide that worm, and he didn't get the knock. You know, he could have tried a kamikaze. Is there a delay on kamikaze?
That's what I was
No.
thinking too. Yeah, exactly. So kamikaze would have been potentially a really good move. You know, there's a chance it's
Yeah.
not going to work, but
I mean, the problem was he didn't get the knock. He needed to make sure of the knock, and
That's-
because
yeah,
he was
so-
taking such a long rope turn. By the end of it, he didn't have that much time. He had to kind of hurry up with the rope knock. If it used the different one that was closer, I think he almost always gets the knock,
Yeah.
and then it's quite likely that he thinks of the kamikaze as well.
I think he would think of it. If he might have been thinking of it, I'm not sure. But
yeah, maybe yeah.
if that's actually a really common way to like counterattack, like someone does, you know, first turn someone does they try to do double kill on you. You got those
Yeah, and
two
then you
low
have,
health
like,
worms.
A couple of low HP worms, right?
Use
And
one, just
that's
use one of
the
them to
perfect
do.
use case for them.
Yeah, one of it, like the worms are now angry. Use them to kamikaze.
Yeah. Yeah.
Like that's the danger. You create angry worms when you
Yeah, I mean, I
kill
like
them,
that.
almost kill
It's
them.
not something that a lot of players go for, and I like it.
And if he got the knock, you know, you can see where Penguin the sheep is there. Like, would because sometimes I've done those kamikaze tunnels, and you get unlucky, don't you? They don't fall through the tunnel; they land on the pixels on the
Yeah,
lower
I mean,
where the
it
gap
happens.
is.
I should
That one
do.
was
Yeah,
kind of guaranteed though, because it's like a straight up tunnel
This
into
is-
the
yeah.
water there.
this is where you do need a monitor where you can see the pixels, because
Yeah.
you can look at the. Actually, I'm on my laptop now, just so I can have this in front of me, so I can't see the pixels that well. Wait, let me lean in. Okay, so looking at the see where Penguin is a little up to the right. You can zoom into the ceiling and just try to see, are there any 2 pixel bumps where, as you're going column by column of pixels, one column is 2 pixels more down.
Is there anywhere for the worm to bounce off the side of a pixel, right?
What do you mean by 2 pixel bumps? Could you explain that, please?
So imagine, I wish I had a diagram, but
Just by Penguin the sheep's eye, I can see like a pixel. Like looks a
where
little bit
so like
high.
where he
No,
would bounce
he's
off
talking
of if you did a
about
kamikaze
texture.
if you did a kamikaze straight down, like where
Yeah.
like just up to the right a bit where Penguin would bounce off the ceiling. Just so to see if
ceiling texture, Tom, not the floor texture.
right, okay.
Below
so
the leaves.
so like the black pixels a little bit up to the right of Penguin the Shen.
Yeah.
It's hard, so you need the background on to see them, but you can see, so by a 2 pixel bump, you're looking, think of just a bunch of columns of pixels. That's what the land is. And if one column is, the bottom part goes out 2 pixels more than the column to
And
the
next
left,
one, right?
then the worm will bounce back instead of sliding forward along the ceiling. Same for ground. So
so it'll bounce back in the direction its trajectory came from, so it would
Yeah.
bounce back to the left,
Yeah.
which is
Yeah.
what you want. because
Yeah.
it's gonna
Yeah,
go
and
back
when
in the
that
hole.
happens, you're pretty likely to get the kamikaze plop hit in this situation.
So
And
there
if
is
obviously- and if it was 1 pixel, then it would just bounce carry on going to the right, and it wouldn't fall in the
Yeah.
map.
yeah.
There's nothing to break the glide along the ceiling, right?
So
So, like,
there is
so-
a 2 pixel bump that you can see. It's
Yeah, there
it's
is
not
really, yeah.
it's not at the exact point where you would hit the ceiling though, which makes it a little hard to tell.
Yeah.
But
yeah,
I
yeah.
think you would probably bounce off of it. I think.
But like, so say if you did a kamikaze on Shark Attack, you just know that he's always going to go back to the way he flew from, because
Yeah.
there's that gradient of those pixel columns is way more than 2 pixels. They're all like 4 and 5.
Almost
Yeah.
all of them
Yeah.
are at least 2 pixels.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah, you could think of it as the slope of the pixels. Yeah, it's
so
more than 2.
I like the word slope
Yeah.
for this. Yeah.
So yeah, it's more than 2. So he will immediately bounce back if you did a kamikaze.
Yeah, basically what you're looking for
shard
is
attack.
a steeper angle than 45 degrees, because when the angle is exactly 45 degrees, that by definition means that every next step is only a pixel lower down than the previous one.
And the only reason that doesn't always help is because like the land is it can be janky. It's not always going to be a straight line.
Yeah.
So
the grass texture and the ceiling texture are always slightly uneven.
Yeah, so it's basically just if there's a 2 pixel difference, then you'll bounce back.
We've got a very similar pixel pitch, I can see, because like when now you've turned the background on, like I can see all the pixels within the brown, and the lines there, which like can be grid marks for BNG and all sorts of stuff. Like
this is also going to change slightly when you're watching a stream on the Twitch website, because the stream size itself is not quite 1-to-1 pixel ratio. I don't think it is, at least.
Yeah. So anyway, but there back to Kamikaze though. So there are some cool ways you can tell whether Kamikaze will, whether it'll work or not in a close quarters situation. One way to tell is, or a simple way that I use is like, if the distance, so like the distance from Penguin to Shen to the ceiling is about a dynamite length. That's actually the standard, like if you imagine a dynamite crater. So it's about that distance, like from him to the ceiling. That's sort of that's sort of a standard distance I use. And basically, if he bounces back immediately from, well, I guess a little more than that distance. If he bounces back immediately from that, he'll go straight back into the hole from whence you created the kamikaze. And if it's shorter range than that, he will bounce to the left, like if there was a shorter distance.
To the left where the worm started, right? Yeah.
To the ceiling. If it's longer than, if there's a further distance, then like
then
about
you're probably gonna need some sort of slide back into the hole, right?
Right. So you can kind of tell whether he's going to land to the left or the right for these short, these close quarter situations. But
so this is specifically for kamikaze. Does the crater size, where you say that you use the rough dynamite size of the crater, does that apply to something like if we were throwing a mine here on top of his head and having him like bounce back and come back into the hole?
I never like. I don't know. I actually don't. I mean, like, I would have to look at it, but I don't have.
Mine does propel the worm slightly less hard than kamikaze, right?
Yeah. I guess I don't really have a thing for that. So yeah.
Yeah. I mean, it is something to keep in mind, though. This isn't actually the way I play worms, though. I just go by feel way more often than you guys.
Yeah. Well, it's only for. You still do have to have feel though, because for kamikaze, you have to judge.
That's
like this is like this little rule it's only for if the worm bounces immediately when it hits its head.
Even that's not guaranteed, because she could slide a little bit and then bounce, right?
Yeah. So yeah. Anyway, let's keep going.
All right. Yeah. So this is where Tita couldn't get the rope knock, unfortunately. I think he needed it because to stay in touch with your first turn that dealt so much damage. I think he needed something good that first turn. And again, like in that previous round, he just didn't quite get it right.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, he needed the knock.
It does mean that he had chances, though. He had a lot of chances in all of the rounds, I feel like.
There were some chances.
A double kill here, or did you just get a single kill with the shotgun and the barrel?
Yeah, I got a double.
Oh, okay.
It was a double, because the barrel is just pretty close to Quinton.
Yeah.
That was a really bad shotgun by me, though. I don't know why I did that. Because
it's good enough.
The difference between you're like doing a shotgun that has the worm land right on the barrel and a little ways off is like so huge, because if they land right on the
It can
barrel,
be a lot of damage.
if they land right on the barrel, that means you can shoot them,
Yeah,
and that's
yeah,
25 plus the barrel plus petrol.
yeah. Whereas if you have to aim for the barrel only, that's a lot of damage lost.
Yeah,
You've got
exactly.
80 there, like both the the RNG on the flamelets there could have gone against you.
Yeah, I think
yeah.
I don't know, like I'm not sure what I was thinking there, but like I definitely realized I was like shooting him too far, and I could have shot him up. Like I could have easily done a slower slide.
That sheep launcher
Yeah,
today against you, Gregor, like the flame pixels didn't go in my favor.
Oh yeah.
Yeah,
There
it happens.
was a napalm as well, where you napalmed a pile of my worms, and they just both immediately jumped out of the fire and into a safe spot. I'm still kind of thinking about those games that we played, as well.
It was a bit of a risky napalm. So
Yeah,
Tita
He
goes for
had
the
to go
cows.
for something. Ooh, yeah, the
That was
cows.
quite good. So after,
What was the roadblock at the end, though? Does
Yeah.
that make sense?
and after this attack, I was surprised he didn't go for a shotgun plot on Gunk sooner.
Yeah. That was a 41 HP worm, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, he
does
could have.
end up going for it eventually, but I mean, Mablak could have decided to just save him here and do something with him. There wasn't that much on, though, I guess.
Mhm. Oh, I guess.
So there was another pile that you needed to save.
Oh yeah, on last turn I forgot my worm shard attack. He probably could have knocked him actually to the left.
Yeah, he actually knocked you to the
Because
right.
I was like,
after retreat time.
because yeah, like the beach land is smooth. There's not going to be any like any 2-pixel bumps.
Yeah, so this is where the body blocking begins.
Body blocking.
First, it's you doing it to him, then he torches you. This was a funny moment on the stream, though, because Tita looks like he's thinking about what to do on his turn with the Ultima. And one of the commentators, I think it was Daria, actually just says, why not do a blowtorch and like counter block him? And like there's a few seconds of pause, and Tita does exactly that.
Tita, you're stream sniping.
Yeah, stream sniper.
Stream sniper.
He was.
Nah.
Nah, it's good,
Nah.
great minds think alike. So here, and would you? I guess if he brought his worm down and went for the kill, like it's the escape that he's not. He's not in the. Like I thought maybe he could hide somewhere. Like he could do the first shotgun on Gunk and then like hide, because he can still get over and climb to like the bottle because the body block's there and stuff.
He could have hid better here.
Like I was surprised he didn't go for a kill on Gunk, but I guess it was because he would be bringing down 100 HP to the fray.
Yep, exactly. There's like no good hides unless
at least one other worm that's up there and still at 100 HP, and this getting kills on those two worms is the hardest thing this round, right? Probably.
Yeah. So yeah, I think actually here my strategy was make them come to me. So like the upper right worm, like I just like don't want to deal with the upper right worm, because if I just kill off
that one, you're just ignoring the entire round,
if I just kill off a few more worms, he has to come down to me, enter my zone.
Yeah. I mean, this does come up quite a lot in intermediate and in cavern rounds in particular, where some of the worms just get height advantage, but you can sort of ignore them if you find other things to do.
Yeah, you got to work around them.
Yeah. I mean, it's always better to have that option as the player with the worm on top, though, because you're the one in control. You're the one that decides.
It does.
Am I actually gonna go down, right?
It does really annoy the opponent if you have a bunch of high worms.
Yeah, it does.
Yeah. Get those worms high.
Yeah. I mean, that's the reason that I'm not as precious about using the ropes in heaven rounds. So quite often I'll just use them, do an attack, like use them, get on the rope, drop a dynamite, maybe even get just a single kill, and then rope up somewhere, right, where I'm hard to reach. And I feel like that ends up helping me quite often if I just stick to that plan.
Yeah, pick a if you can pick a worm that you know you're probably not gonna have to like move and maybe just get him high up, then that's great.
Yeah, yeah,
Um,
yeah. Yeah, that's
okay.
it. It sounds like a bit of a boring play, but I think it's worth it a lot of the time.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, so
And
this is
let's
where
see.
the commentators were asking themselves, why isn't he just parachuting to the right?
Oh, well, yeah, it's, of course, yeah.
Yeah.
And
I mean,
here,
you do eventually do it. This is kind of risky shit,
Yeah,
though.
this is the flame where you could have
a
gone
little
50
risky. That's a little risky.
I mean, I feel like you probably knew that something was going to be going on with the flamelets up
Yeah.
top there.
Yep.
On the other hand, I mean, it was kind of fine still.
I could have, I probably, maybe like one way to deal with that would have been like just doing an extra jump around when I was like gonna detonate. Maybe I could have,
yeah,
or a
there
backflip.
is that. You could have also just accepted that the flames are going to be hitting you and drop the sheep from the very left extremity.
Get left a little bit, yeah.
Yeah.
Get on the
And
edge
then
of the
you
pixel.
always slide to the left instead of the right.
Yeah, yeah. That might have been the safest way.
Yeah. Yeah, that's what I was thinking when I was watching around, yeah.
I'm gonna head off, guys. It's pretty late here in the UK.
Okay,
Alright,
chicken.
I'll let you guys carry on the analysis.
Thanks for joining
well,
us.
yeah. It's already past 1 in the morning in the UK.
This is so close to sheep as well. That was
That
really
sheep,
cool.
man.
Yeah. Yeah, this
is a good sheep.
Could have changed things, I feel like.
But yeah, congratulations on your win.
Yeah,
Thanks, man.
And yeah, I
GG's.
look forward to
Right.
watching you stream again. Good night.
Yeah.
Alright,
Do some more
good
streaming.
night, see ya.
Alright, chicken.
Bye.
Peace. Okay.
Ooh, yeah, there's actually quite a lot of action going on in the Twitch chat. I see. I haven't been able to follow that though. There's been a lot of conversation going on.
I see a little. Oh yeah, Ruffle, I use my worms' full names.
No.
I've never. Yeah, I did change them at some point over time because I forgot one of them, but I don't know.
Yeah, I remember that. Yeah. Sometimes when I watch one of your ancient replays, I get a little confused because there's one of them in there that I don't remember from later on.
I don't remember him either.
It was wasn't it Yargington that had a number added to his name as well?
Oh yeah, that changes. Yeah, sometimes it's Yargington the like third.
Yeah.
I think it goes up over time as he has more like offspring.
And just
It's a family dynasty, the Yargingtons.
yeah, makes sense. Makes a lot of sense. Yeah, so this was the turn where Tita actually decides to go for the Yargington kill using low gravity. This was pretty
Smart,
good.
yeah.
He would have preferred to get the sheep kill straight away, but this was good because he didn't even need to drop down. He could just do the shotgun from.
This is smart, yeah. Go for
yeah,
I mean, yeah, like go for as many kills as you can. Generally, that's
yeah. Yeah, and also this round, I mean, it's only on minute 11, but you can kind of tell that it was gonna be going late anyway, because there's a bunch of worms that just you're not gonna have time to chew through all the health that they're on, right? And
right.
at that point, you do prioritize getting worm kills.
And like, I guess like, so as you're getting to, this is like sort of between the middle and the late game. It's where you want to start counting, turns left for each player. So like, if we're looking right now, so like I have 2 worms on the left. He has it's like 2 turns. If I'm counting up all my turns, so 2 turns there, 2 turns for my worm that's going right now because he's 100 health. 2 turns for Yazzle maybe. 1 turn for Elvis, so that's 4 or 5. So that's like 7 turns for me.
Yeah, it's for 7-ish. Yeah.
7-ish, and for him, so I'm pretty sure I'm gonna get this cow kill. So I'm only
a robot voice a little bit.
Oh.
I don't think you're on stream though. Maybe this is me.
Okay, let's see. So let's see if I'm counting Tita's worms. So like Primero, that's 2 turns. Ultimo, that's 1 turn. Sexto, only 1 because I'm pretty sure cows are going to kill in 1 turn. And then this last guy, that's 5, but he's also blocked, so that's sort of like kind of like 4. So it's a big enough difference that I don't feel really any concern about like hides or anything.
Yeah. Discord apparently disconnected me from the voice call again, but I was able to listen to you on stream.
Yeah. So oh yeah. So what I said was like, so there's like 7. It's like 7 to basically 4 if we sort of take into account that that worm is blocked.
Yeah, and it is your turn next, right?
Yeah, so like I basically in those situations you don't really need to worry about being on the defense, just worry about how to kill the remaining worms.
Yeah, because when you are ahead, you just want to stay ahead, and even if you just stay even, you're pretty happy about this. Yeah, so this is a reason that I like the cows very much here, because that's exactly what they achieve here. You just get the damage in, right?
Yeah, now it's even more. Yeah, he just doesn't have too many turns left before I would be able to finish him off.
Yeah, in a situation like this, the only thing that actually saves him is if you're very low on your resources, right? And maybe he can somehow play around your turn order. Right? But it's a pretty open map as well, so he was in a lot of trouble now.
Yeah, and let's see.
I'm not sure what he might have done differently this round. I think for all of the rounds tonight that you guys played, it came down so much to the first turns. Because if it only risked a little bit more on the first turn and gotten, 2 kills instead of a single one, or 1 kill instead of no kills, those first turns could have like carried his advantage forward to almost the entire rest of the round. But he was just slightly too conservative, I think, for a final like this anyway.
Yeah, a little bit conservative, more so than I would have thought.
Yeah, because that's what I was expecting, right? His tita and this kind of his style. He's in the final, so he's
known for his aggression.
Right?
Yeah, he's known for his aggressive style.
Yeah. I mean, on the other hand, he has been trying to rein that in a little bit, because it's pretty often, and especially in his CWT matches in previous years, right, where that is how he lost rounds and matches.
Yeah,
because he just went for a little too much, and so it makes sense that as he matures as an intermediate player, he starts going for just a little bit less.
And so let's see. So like right here at the, I guess at the start of my turn, so I'm pretty low on resources. So, I use a jetpack now. Now all that I have left for utilities, low gravity, rope, worm select. So I need to like plan out.
You want to be preserving the low gravity until the very end, because that's one of the ways where on counter rounds you can actually get a double kill that way.
Yeah.
And it's a huge advantage if you have your LG and your opponent doesn't anymore.
Oh yeah, if you can, that's actually one thing I've experimented with over the years. Like, do you always follow the rule of save your LG no matter what? Do you have exceptions? I think what I've found is it's incredibly helpful to save it if you can, but if it's gonna score you like a double kill or something, use that shit. It's a really fine. There's no solid rule. I don't think you don't have to say I'm always gonna save it. It's nice to have it like for sudden death, but
I mean, I've seen so many rounds where it decided the round, and especially in high stakes matches that are more likely to get played at least in part on camera rounds.
Yeah,
that is where it comes up so much.
Yeah, so it's kind of like if you're not really sure about the outcome of the game, like will it go to sudden death, you might want to save it.
Yeah, I agree with that. I mean, it's funny though, because I feel like most intermediate players, especially the NNA current guys, they arrive at this same conclusion from the other direction that I did, where they always save their low gravity, and that was their starting position, but they like try to figure out whether does that always have to be a rule or no, the way you said, right? But for me, it was kind of the opposite. I was always preferring to use my LG early if I even saw anything cool that I could do with it. And then quite often it harmed me in the late game.
It's hard to know. It's like the only way to know is through experience, basically. Like,
yeah. It's not just like overall experience that you have from playing the scheme for 20 years, right? It's also experience like being match fit, as they call it in tennis, for example, where if you've played a lot of rounds of intermediate, you're kind of better at judging it.
Yeah.
And
so,
if you're a little bit rusted, it's one of the things that you struggle with or can struggle with.
Oh, yeah. Let's see, on this turn, so, if you're low on resources...
I think that the commentators were questioning your hide, because it was very good at blockable. And
this hide
might not have been an amazing reason to keep that worm that safe, right?
This hide... Yeah, so, I could have chosen... Well, I don't think I had a spot that was not super girder blockable, but there is a reason. There is a reason for this spot, which is that if I get killed here, I'll create a hole, and I want to be able to get to the right, no matter what he does, because he'll be trying to hole up in the right if he can. And that might give me another pathway forward. But as far as resource usage for the late game and intermediate, you want to plan out basically like a sort of like a kill per utility, something like that. So like I have how many turns? I basically have 3. I should be able to kill him in 3 turns. And I do happen to have exactly 3 things left, so I do need to, like, match those. I need to use, like, 1 utility for each kill, and the simplest way to do that here is with my first utility is going to be a worm select, because I know I can use the worm select right now. I don't know if I'm going to be able to use it to get a kill in the next couple turns.
Yeah, actually, worm select does fall off in the very late game where your opponent is all the way like safe from it, right? And here he wasn't yet. So this I like that you used worm select first and not, for example, a rope first.
Right. I basically had to, so that I could save rope and LG. Yeah,
because LG specifically gets better in the late game, and worm select gets worse.
Mm. Tita doesn't have a lot of options. He could. Let's see what. He's got 1 rope and 1 jetpack.
Oh yeah. Yeah,
so,
I mean he's off behind now, worm count wise, and that's not where you want to be. This was a very close round though. I feel like maybe 4 of the turns could have changed the outcome drastically.
There could have been some different kills for sure. He could have if he had piled chart, then that would have been really bad for me actually.
Yeah, this is also where I think the commentators were looking for a kill on Shard. It was difficult though, because he needed to have gone for a rope knock and then a block with the shotgun probably.
Yeah.
And even he's probably vulnerable to getting killed off himself, right?
Yeah.
So instead, he decides to go for this block. I don't know. This felt like not the winning play to me. I felt like he needed to go for something more. And maybe something more was, a kind of risky petrol bomb, not necessarily some huge one-shot on shard attack.
Mm-hmm.
It's difficult to say what it was, but at this point, I feel like this is the part of the round where you can kind of relax as Mablak, and you kind of know that more often than not, I'm going to be able to bring this one home.
Wait, I just saw something. Wasn't there? It was under 3 minutes on the sudden death clock, but I don't think I saw a message. Maybe it was like 3:0 something.
I'm paying attention to that at all.
Weird. So I don't know if there's much he could do here. Like because like I have 4 or 5 turns it would take to kill me, 2 turns to kill him. That's a big difference, and it's like unless you can hide away somewhere, which he can't, then there's nothing to do.
That side of the map is just so open that it's gonna take girders and dark siding, but you know he isn't even at an advantage if it goes that late and it becomes this like the water rise sudden that match.
So he's doing the best he can, and that's like basically that's just trying to reduce it to get a 1 versus 3 situation.
Yeah. I mean, that sounds awful, though.
Yeah, and you can come back from a 1 versus 3 situation, like if you you shotgun 2 worms, then you jump onto the last worm. That's something that happens a lot for like ties.
Yeah, it can. Yeah. I mean, it is what you play for, but I feel like even though the early game didn't go in his favor as much as I thought it needed to go, there were still in the mid game parts of this round where he could have just gone for a little bit more. This was a very good use of low gravity. Though you're just taking charge of this left side. You can even jump up. Yeah.
Just making sure I'm not somewhere I can be like rope knocked and get fall damage, because when sudden death comes, that's bad. 1 health.
I was actually thinking, why didn't he jump to the left there? Because he had low gravity enabled, and you could have hidden in a way where that barrel above you isn't dangerous to you almost ever, right?
that may be good. Yeah.
I'm close to the edge of the map there, right?
Yeah, that might be good if I had hid more left.
Well, yeah, you could have, but I think this is also fine. Because if he does end up needing to go for the barrel kill on you, that's first of all not guaranteed, and it's also gonna expose him anyway. Because he did still have the jetpack, right?
Mm-hmm. What I really like what he's doing here though. Just to hold me off, he's like finding some good spots for really annoying girders that you can't just shotgun through.
Yeah.
Like
this is the fun part of girdering, trying to find ways where you can't blowtorch them, you can't shotgun out, and he found a very good one here.
Yeah, it's just kind of annoying, basically. Like it's not like it's going to change the outcome of the game, but
that's sort of the point of girder, though, as a weapon in this game. Though,
but I guess the nice thing is though it forces me to use a teleport, which,
Yeah. It could end up mattering, yeah. I mean, there was also maybe a way you could free yourself here using the shotgun, but it was so close.
It's not worth it now. I could drill down, but eh.
Yeah, I guess. You're not actually open to the left then, though, so... I mean, teleport's fine, right? You still had one left, I think, after this.
Yeah. And so... I don't know about that teleport. I don't know if that's the optimal place. It's,
It took a while to decide, and I mean, it probably wasn't gonna end up mattering, but it was possible that something that would have arrived on this turn already, right? Because it was like only 20 seconds away.
Yeah, this is
Yeah, so if he gets sudden death here, what's the best he can do?
This is a smart move by him, honestly. Like finding another really annoying girder that.
Yeah.
I'm surprised he was able to do this, but yeah, this is a smart move.
The map was kind of set up for it, though.
Yeah, it's like we had this slope.
And the object there. I mean, he was quite often vulnerable to kamikaze this round anyway, because there's just so much open space on the left side.
Yeah, so like here, I mean,
immediately though.
So I do get him with Kami, but if let's say I wasn't able to do that, he had hit a little differently. I would have to use this turn and just make a hole like down where the girder is, I think. And
could you? Oh yeah, you could have made it hole. Yeah.
And I guess the thing about that is
it's not going to be fast enough to prevent you coming there. Yeah.
Maybe he could do something, like if I did do that, maybe he could, find some way to kill Elvis and also hide right, but I don't know.
Oh, yeah. So you'd have to be going the other way. But I mean, then you still have both of your worms on the left, and the jetpack, right?
Yeah, yep. Oh, and hey, Sensei in chat.
This map was just a little bit too open for what he was going for here, I guess.
Right. For people who don't know, Kamikaze works by your worm travels, 450-ish pixels, and it'll go through all that land no matter what. And then after that, it's in touch anything and you explode mode. So basically, you go through the first, 450-ish pixels of land, and then you can go forever until you hit something.
Yeah, basically it's checking after that initial phase where it wants to explode. It's checking, is there terrain where the worm is, and if there's no terrain, it always just keeps going, as long as it's within the boundary of the map area in the game. Once it goes out of that, I think there is a cooldown and it explodes after a while. But inside the map area, it can go on forever. Until it meets enough land that the game decides, all right, there's land around me, I'm gonna explode.
Yeah, so
and, Kamikaze was well spotted though.
It was a little scary, even though I know it's gonna work. It was a little narrow.
Yeah. This isn't something that comes up that often.
Kamikaze's,
in those 2 missions now.
yeah.
Have some sort of kamikaze move in them.
Kamikaze is amazing in worms too. It's like
it is. Auto explodes like hell.
We just need like a kamikaze only run. I'm sure it would be.
Yeah.
That's what it's shaping up to be.
Yeah.
Oh wait, one sec.
Maybe this should be a scheme, right? Maybe this should be a scheme that we play on.
Oh yeah. That'd be fun.
I mean, yeah. Kamikaze is a little weird, and then in that some players used to just measure it with the rulers and stuff, and like stuff drawn on pieces of paper and stuff like that. I think that happened quite a bit in the intermediate community, but I'm hoping that maybe by now people have mostly given up on that.
Oh well, thing is, I measure kamikazes with. I have a good way to do it with girders, like a vertical or horizontal kamikaze is exactly 3 girder lengths.
That's acceptable, yeah.
It's exactly 3 girder lengths from
long girders, right? Yeah.
From like the front of your worm. Yeah.
Does it? Yeah. I mean, I would never in my life do that, for one thing, but that's not because I think it's like cheating or anything. I think it's fine. It's not the way I do it. I like that. I used to be pretty good at kamikaze because I played a bunch of Elite, right, in my youth, so to speak.
Yeah.
And kamikaze used to be huge in Elite. It was like most of the late games came down to some sort of kamikaze.
It was pretty big. Oh yeah, I mean that was a good way to get ties or finish off like
you could
remaining worm.
Them in the early and mid game where sometimes you had a low HP worm because you got grenaded at something or mined or barreled or something like that, and you could go for the long distance plop, right, where the kamikaze explosion actually connects with the worm and blasts him across the map. And
I mean that's just like
I'm just very happy about that.
Yeah, if you can get that, that's just it just feels nice.
Yeah, that was some of the early showcase movies had some of those moves in them.
Oh yeah,
and
those are great.
Were from Elite, yeah.
I want an ASMR video of just like kamikazes that plop worms like that.
Yeah, that's gonna be a Twitch channel at some point.
Yeah, I'll do that. I'm down for that.
24/7, have it running all the time.
Oh yeah,
right,
Tita did.
This round was insane. This round just had it all.
Look at this. Tita does a really good job. So like I could get like a quad kill on those 4 worms pretty easily.
Yeah, and he saves them, right?
Select, he moves 1 out of the way. And because you really don't want to use all 3 selects.
He was trying to fire on all cylinders, like not taking as long as him anymore. During the first few rounds, and this is always a good sign for
Tita. This is very well. Yeah, this is very good first turn. Getting the worms out of the way, using a rope to knock
it was
your.
always going to take a lot of time to get this done this turn.
It's too bad
He
yeah.
kinda runs out of time, yeah.
He just ran out of time. He could have gotten the knock.
Yeah, this could have been like a round winning almost. And on the other hand, if he had gotten the first turn, there's like almost no way he wins the round, because even if you don't get the quad kill, even if you only get the 3 worms, right? It's a cat in the round. He's almost not going to be able to come back after that.
It's
Luckily,
tough.
though, he was the one to get first turn here.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and so now, as you're taking your first turn, you have much less interesting stuff to look at.
Yeah, so like one thing like that he did by moving all those worms, it does throw me for a loop a little bit, because I'm like, I wanted to kill those worms. I have nothing to do now. So
yeah. Just comparatively, there's nothing.
But
I mean, you still found something. I think this first.
This is pretty. I think this is.
This is the longbow. This is interesting.
I think this is pretty good because I know neither of these worms are next, and he already used 2 worm selects.
Yeah, so this is where the plan for this round changed, and you kind of switched into resource sapping mode, where you're
little bit, yeah,
and win the resource battle.
Yeah.
I didn't quite get the pile, but it was good enough, right?
Yeah. It's good enough. He basically has to use a worm select.
Yeah. And he's only going to decide to use 1, though. He's not going to use 2. That's also because he used 1 on his first turn, right?
Yeah. Oh, no, he used 2 worm selects. Or wait.
Already?
Sorry, actually, wait. yeah. So he's out now.
Oh, wow. He's already out.
Yeah.
I mean... Yeah. I don't know. I think if he still had 1 left here, would he even save 1 of those 2 worms? Because that's exactly the thing Chicken was asking about before, right? And you were saying, don't use all of your worms like straight away. And he kind of did here, but it was also fine, though.
I would,
this turn good.
I would probably do the same thing. I think I'd probably use all 3 because he does have an advantage right now, and
he's far ahead HP wise.
Yeah,
so this is actually already when I'm thinking, is there going to be a skunk this game? And for quite a while you just decided against it because you just found other things to do, I guess.
I do try to, like, skunks are really nice, but the thing about them is that if you use them, you're basically planning on like a long game.
You're locking yourself into a long game, right?
Yeah.
And that's the only plan you're gonna have for the entire round. That maybe it wasn't time yet here.
Right. So my thoughts here. So like, if you notice, like I could knock Segundo down, but the thing about that is he could land a little bit to the right of the flag and not actually get in the pile. So
get that knock, so he bounces off the flag and goes next to the other 2 worms.
It was kind of like if that happened, I couldn't even use using a second rope might even not work. So just use 1 rope and get a double.
Yeah, it's good enough, I guess. On the other hand, this is where you could have decided to use the second rope anyway and bring this worm up somewhere, right, where it's mostly safe.
He's low health, right? Because he also has got like low health, so I'm like, I guess I'll leave him.
If it were a full HP worm, then you consider it.
Right, and the only thing that allowed me to do that move was knowing that Terciero was next, so he can't attack.
Yeah, he's all the way blocked off. Yeah, you did manage to bring it back very nicely this round, but in the end, Tita was still favored by so much, so much.
I mean, Tita could have easily won this one.
He's also not quite hiding from the skunk there again, but I guess he saw you not going for it before, so
Yeah.
He's not that worried about that.
Yeah. I've kind of been on like a no skunk spree. Like I like skunk a
I
lot.
didn't notice that. Yeah.
I like skunk a lot, but I've been favoring more light sidey matches and not hiding away.
Yeah.
I don't know why. I just found it more like lately for some reason I've just been like, I don't need to hide. I just want to play the game light sided, and it's been working. So I don't know.
Yeah, I mean, it's not that surprising that it's working for you, because you're just one of the best players there are at finding fires and finding combos and finding ways of in the mid game not falling behind, right, or even falling away.
I mean,
so it makes sense that you don't even need the skunk approach that much, right?
Yeah, I mean, thanks. I'm good at finding kills, so yeah, that's part of it.
Yeah. I mean, that's like no big surprise there.
Yes, that's probably part of it. But I let's see. So here I block him. So he knows Elvis is next, but I'm not gonna do anything with Elvis. Like I can't. I don't know why he's thinking of blocking him.
Now that the girders came out, you probably would be less sad about going for the skunk plays, but on the other hand, Tita also decides not to actually go for even more girders, and he just goes for the shotgun and brings you down into one shotgun range.
Yeah. So here, this is.
He's also opening Tercero up there.
Yeah.
And Sexto.
Yeah, he does need to find some way to get left while he still has a decent advantage, I would say.
Yeah.
Also,
this
he's
is where you want to be pressing your advantage. Yeah.
Also, he's trying really hard to get to Gunk and Yargington over there.
Right. Yeah, because that was one of the things that the commentators were kept bringing up. Is there a way for Tita to just blow you up here if he gets another double attack on your leftmost worms? And on the other hand, we also noticed that you were dominating the left side of the map, and if you found a way of keeping him away from that left side, you just have so many worms going into sudden death, right? That maybe you're just favored there then. But all credit to Tita. He managed to actually take over that left side by the end of this round.
Yeah. If you look though, so Tita, he has 2 ropes, jetpack LG. So like, if he wants to, and that's a pretty good move.
I like the cows here. Yeah, they were good.
Cause like that gives him a retreat. So that was a good move.
Yeah, I like this a lot. Yeah, cause he also had a spot to push into the water on your 48 HP worm, I think it was.
Yeah. For Gunk and Yargington over there, so I'm still worried about them. He didn't want to go for those two because, for one, not a sure double kill. Once you knock Gunk down, he's in a little crevasse.
Yeah, and also, in a way, he's made that double kill more possible by going for the cows first and opening up a plot hole there. Maybe that comes into play, right?
Well, actually, he can't really bounce off the flag now, so maybe, well, I don't know.
Yeah, I'm just thinking get Gunk down there, and maybe there is some sort of sheep or something that gets both of them right somehow, because there is a barrel there, and you can do something with the barrel fire as well.
Oh yeah, so zooming.
He has so few resources left by this point, but I guess it makes sense because of that first turn.
First turn, yeah. So we're both. What do I have? I'm pretty low. I have 2 ropes, a jetpack. I've got select worms though.
Awesome. You have to respond to that first turn, and that's probably where a lot of it went.
Yeah. So I sort of accepted he's probably going to kill Shard attack, so I didn't try to move Shard. But maybe I could have done that actually.
I mean, he did have some stuff to do at this point, though. Well, I like the teleport up with Elvis. That was what threw, I feel, a wrench in his plan of taking over the left side. He tried to contest it by teleporting up there, and that was good. It didn't quite work out in the end, though.
for the for the teleport I did with Elvis,
Yeah.
I sort of recognize this. Like maybe I could have gotten it. I was actually trying to block him with the teleport, but while I was doing it, I was like, this isn't quite right. So what I could have done is, if I wanted to do a teleport block, I could have teleported right onto the edge of that girder right here. And that would, like, he would have, if he wanted to get past that, he'd have to use a rope, and that's a pretty big loss because he only has 2 ropes.
Yeah, you would have at that point. He still had 2. Yeah,
because like
he would have used one for just
the
knock and
so
not
like
get anything else done with it.
If I did that, then he would literally have to use 2 ropes to pull off that cow move, and then he's like ropeless. So that would be kind of a block if I did that, and I probably should have.
It's also kind of tricky though, because you gotta make sure you don't just fall down, right, and then you don't achieve anything with that.
Yeah, but as you were saying, having him up there sort of helps me contest the right side. Like,
yeah, it does.
Yeah. It kind of just helps me get an attack in. Like, I need to do at least a little more damage to him.
Right. Yeah. And I think that's one of the things that's important to recognize in intermediate, because if you'd have waited an extra turn to do that teleport, it would have been much less effective. Because by then the situation on the left side and in the middle there would have mostly resolved itself, and then you're not achieving that much anymore.
Right. So like so intermediate usually goes into fort mode, where you're like, one team has the right side of the map, the other team has the left side.
Yeah, that's very typical.
In this case, one thing about that is that you want to, if you're like too far to one side, you can't do anything. So you want to sort of have some way, like you want to have somewhere that's like closer to the middle at least, which is sort of
access, right? You still want some sort of access so that you're threatening.
Because you can girder, you can like maybe get a kill off somewhere.
Yeah, it's not even necessarily invading. You can do other things. You can do petrels, you can do girders, you can do just loom, right? As around
just loom. Just like basically just T-pose. You're asserting dominance over your opponent by being close.
I mean, that's legitimately useful. Interesting though, Tita, I think he wanted you down on the girder here, but he didn't get the first shot right. He then found a very nice one where he does actually make it fall down through the little gap.
He almost got. I think I could have gotten back up even if I fell all the way down.
Yeah, you did. I mean, you could have slid further down still though, and then your turn gets tricky because, well, if you get wind, you probably just use one parachute if you need to.
All right, now.
And this jump was doable though, and this is where you go for the skunk now. Where I'm in the Twitch chat going, why hasn't the skunk happened 5 turns ago?
So that was pretty. Honestly, I think that was foreseeable, and I realized that was one of the possible outcomes of the skunk. Because
I mean, if anyone's gonna know that this is gonna maybe happen, it's gonna be you, because you're just the animal whisperer in this game.
Yeah, so the reason the skunk got stuck there is because it was in walk mode. Animals will be in walk mode if there's any pixel in a small range, 49 to 53 pixels above their head. Just like a little, it's like
jumping.
It's like a couple, like 3 worm lengths-ish above their head. They will...
Oh, wow. 3.
It's a small range. It's like a 5 pixel range of.
Yeah, that's under 50 pixels.
It's something like that. Yeah. Like 49 to 53 pixels in that range. If there's any pixel above the animal's head, they will not jump. And yeah, I mean, I knew it was going to be in walk mode there, but I should have like analyzed it a little more, because like if I know it's in walk mode, then it can't climb a slope of like 2. Like a skunk can't climb a slope of like 2. It's gonna turn around. So
it is also weird that it got stuck exactly in that tiny crack. It was a little hard to tell, but I mean, I'm also thinking, was there maybe a way where you can manipulate the way the skunk jumps by when you trigger the poison coming out, when you press the space bar? Because that does push the skunk slightly to the side, right?
If you activate it like before it's at the height of its jump, it'll get some boost. Yeah, I could have just walked a little left, activated the skunk, then it would jump over. So I think
probably. Yeah. I mean, it was so close though, and that actually looks like the ceiling above is far enough up there not to result in what happened, but it happened anyway, I guess. Was there a way you maybe just go for the skunk on the rightmost two worms and ignore Primero?
Possibly, but I wanted to hide with Primero so they couldn't kill him right away.
Oh yeah. That's a good point. Yeah.
Okay, so that's
if you are dropping the skunk from roughly where you are, but ignoring Primero and only going for the top two worms, then you're not that guaranteed to get the top worm. It's a pretty long way for the poison to go.
Yeah. Or I could have gone for Ultimo and Terciero.
yeah, I guess you could have, yeah. The wind was like medium to the right, though.
Yeah, I could have had better wind.
Yeah. Yeah, there was another turn before where you just didn't get the right wind for the skunk. Even there, though, it probably would have only been a two worm skunk.
Right. Okay, so here I got... So, Tita has blocked me off. I don't know if that's
more left here than he did, because you still had your cows as well and 2 ropes, and he's only on a single one.
Yeah.
And LG, I don't think he had LG anymore. Yeah, because he went for the longbow.
Yeah.
And him? Oh, he doesn't have E anymore either.
So
Let's have the chat now.
So basically, I'm just trying to preserve my worm count, and Tita says...
Yeah, this is where you start going full fort mode and taking over the left side. He kind of foresaw that though, and at this point, I think he was beginning to think that HP wise, I'm ahead. He's got 1 or 2 low HP worms, and all of mine are pretty healthy still. Should I maybe try and speed this game up, right?
Yeah. But yeah, like I know Elvis is gonna die, so
he does. I'm not doing that. Oh, so oh yeah, you skunked yourself. I just realized. I was thinking, when did Tita skunk one of your worms? Yeah. So I guess never. That is interesting though, that skunk doesn't come up often in CWT, and particularly in your matches, which have been the ones that I've been watching
Skunks?
the most closely. Right?
Yeah, skunks are good. Yeah. Like, you just gotta be prepared to do a longer game to make the skunk work, but...
Yeah, I mean, but you kind of know that at high level intermediate, cavern rounds are gonna go long more often than not, right? So why isn't skunk the best weapon in the game for cavern rounds?
Yeah, like, yeah, it totally can be, yeah.
Yeah, it can. I mean, it also depends on the map. I feel like the maps you guys were playing in the final were quite open. The islands as well as the cavern ones.
They were pretty open.
With more squiggly, more complex, and more just elaborate maps, I think the skunk opportunities happen more often than they did. So yeah, these were for the longbow ladder now.
Yeah, let's see. I didn't really... So, like, Tita starts to... I mean, I knew he was probably going to start trying to go for Kagli. Because Kagli is, like, a low-health worm.
Yeah, also he's got the easiest access to.
My main problem was that I was out of teleports, and...
That's right.
I probably could have used a girder to like move Kagli a bit. That probably would have been good.
Yeah, it would have given you access, but I guess the longbow arrows give you access anyway. If you're expecting him to try and go late this round,
I didn't think he'd do this snipey move here.
Wow, I mean, it's very nice though, if you get it. This round ended in a very funny way as well, where
Yeah.
the girders are being placed so pixel perfect, and you're trying to snipe him through the gaps. That was funny.
It is pretty.
It was not as funny as the way he fails that sheep at the end, though.
Yeah.
I mean, if David's watching this, he's gonna be pretty upset. And he's gonna want to TA that last turn with the sheep.
Yeah, probably.
There were several weapons that could have done it there.
Okay, this is a definite wait. Like, I have 2 ropes. Tita has 1 rope and a jetpack. So it's in neither of our interests to like use a utility and go over. Like, we can't do anything. So
this is where the commentators as well were beginning to realize that this round's gonna go long.
Yeah. I should have done this way faster. Like, whoa.
Here. How many players do you even have left here? 2.
It's my last one. I got 1 more. Yeah.
Oh yeah, you do have 1 more. Yeah, this was a weird one. This was a very weird one. You should have lost this one.
Probably. So he can break through with shotgun, and if he could get a shot on Elvis over there, that would be good.
Yeah, you also, in a way, got lucky that Cagley Bejesus was on just above 25 HP, and your other one, the skunk one, was the one on low HP, and that one was just far enough away not to make sense to go for, right?
Yeah. I think Tita remembered his notch here for, like, this shot. He's like, I'm going to use the shot again.
Yeah, I mean, that was good. The only reason it's good is it doesn't open, though.
Mm-hmm. And let's see, sudden death clock 145.
Yeah. So another solid 2 turns and a bit.
So
yeah, this late game was very interesting to me. There was stuff going on that I'd not seen in a long time, in intermediate at least.
This is weird. So, like, I did want to use a girder to prevent them from getting the final hit on Cagley, but if you look, he could break through above, like.
Yeah.
And he's gonna get the kill. So I do the next best thing, which is to. This is a good thing to do if you have nothing to do. Just make a double exit hole so that they can't girder a certain worm.
Yeah, this way you're basically not blockable with the single girder ever.
Yeah, so that's something, you know.
Comes up quite a bit with torch tunnels as well, where if you are inside the torch tunnel, you cannot be blocked from both sides, right?
Yeah,
torch has an opening on the left and on the right.
Yeah, torch tunnels are great for making these like 2-way exit tunnels.
Yeah. Interesting though. Would you have gone for the open up above if you hadn't done this?
I would think so, yeah, because he can just walk up there.
I guess he would have gone for it. On the other hand, he is then walking down to get the second shotgun shot on him, whereas here he's getting to hide all the way, right?
Yeah.
Not sure. I mean, I guess you do value your last girder quite a bit in a round that you know is going to go long, right?
Yeah. One great thing to do with like your final girder is like girder the worm that has like just gone, has just had their turn, and then like then sudden death comes, then you finish off the worms that are not girdered, and that can be cool.
Block off, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's definitely a way to win late game, especially cavern rounds where you're just mostly gonna have access, right? You're gonna be able to get to the other side. Yeah, this is the point of this round where I was beginning to get quite worried for you, because even with your even with your ability to just zook around the outside of the map, right? This is still such a situation where he's just way far ahead.
Yeah, it's definitely 4 versus 3 right now, and
Well,
I
yeah,
can't.
I mean, also there's no potential for you to improve on that.
There's
It
yeah, I
require
was
some
thinking
sort of mess up on his part.
about re-sniping him through his snipe hole.
Yeah, yeah.
I think I could have done it. I think I could have gotten a Zook off and killed Primero.
Where would you have done the zook from? Like, from right next to the gap?
Yeah, so I mean, cause yeah, like you have the benefit of the fact that Zook goes an automatic 6 pixels through land.
Yeah.
So I think that would be safe.
Well, yeah, I mean, you can get the zook, but then you're also quite close to the water, and suddenly that's coming around.
That's the tough part. Yeah, I wasn't quite sure.
Yeah. I mean, it's also the CWT final. If you mess up, that can maybe lose you the next round as well.
Yeah.
That is the sort of psychological aspect of this game that can come up sometimes.
Yeah.
So this is where he girders and blocks you off from going for that. I mean, you could have still gone for the shotgun, I guess. But at this point, it's sudden death, and you're in fewer worms. You gotta be, at this point, I guess you gotta be looking for sort of double kill.
Yeah. And I'm trying to do like a super careful like shotgun that doesn't break through above all else, but ideally that just leaves a tiny gap, and I didn't quite get it.
Was this zookable from? Like, could you zook through that?
I think so, yeah.
Yeah.
So that's another option.
Low key, this was actually where you were setting Tita up to fail with the sheep. This is
little did I know, yeah.
Yeah. Just foresight, just Mablak things.
Just like, yeah, getting in his head.
Situation. That was crazy. Just, we couldn't believe what had just happened. Oh yeah, so he's actually... Did he go for this teleport? I guess he did, right?
Yeah. He wants to just pick off my worms. This is the one
you're least sad about losing, though, I guess. Maybe not though, because there could have been something you could have done. You could have done with the gap, right? Right. So now it's 2 versus 3. It's
2 versus 3.
Yeah.
To some extent, I think that's a trade-off I would probably make too. If he went from 4 versus 3 to 3 versus 2, it makes sense because then you just have to do like. He could finish me off with a kamikaze and a homing missile, and if the water just keeps rising. But
he's actually considering: is there a way for him to draw from here? And having only 2 worms left makes it harder to draw.
Yeah. So here I'm making sure he can't just shotgun through.
Yeah. This was a very accurately placed girder. I could tell on stream that you were lining it up pixel by pixel.
I was planning on Uziing next turn, yeah.
Yeah. I like that though, that Uzi comes up.
It's cool. Situations like this have happened a few times. Yeah.
There's a lot of land up there that you could eat up your bullets.
It's pretty tight, yeah.
Yeah. I mean, no, you gotta play it tight though, because otherwise he just does it to you, right?
Right. Well, I was thinking I could actually, instead of Uzi, I probably could shotgun through that too, but
Yeah.
A little
Yeah, yeah.
riskier because he could just shotgun kill me in 2 shots.
Yeah. Yeah, I can't quite see the height of your Jargenton worm, but I think he is safe from shotgun for now at least. It all came down to that girder though, because you could have placed it slightly lower down, and that maybe changes things, right?
Yeah, it's it's pretty
Yeah.
precise.
Yeah, it's just such a weird late game. This is more the sort of thing I'm used to from Cavern Team 17 rounds from many years ago, as
Yeah.
opposed to intermediate rounds.
I guess like it does
There
kind
was
of
maybe
show.
Yeah, there was maybe a handgun here as well, right?
Yeah.
It's slightly safer because you're almost guaranteed not to open up, right? Whereas with Uzi, it's not that unlikely.
Yeah, I definitely could have missed this, but
Yeah, this was tricky. This was a pretty ballsy move, I gotta say. And then the jump into the hide, and you didn't quite get it all the way tucked in, but it's good enough.
it does like sort of serve as like a deterrent because like if he wants to Uzi, he has to do it from way far away. His spread is going to be way off.
Yeah. Your Uzi is easier and safer than
Right,
his
right.
is.
It's a one-way Uzi street.
Well, yeah, kind of, yeah. But on the other hand, there's other things he could have done. Right?
He probably, let's see, he could have made, like maybe he could have shotgun sniped me, but I don't know.
I'm almost convinced that he can just always shotgun the cactus above you and get the damage in.
Probably, yeah.
I mean, it's this jump, though. He got the jump in the end. Yeah, see? I mean, this is always shotgun. Why didn't he shotgun? He didn't even wait until
Why? Yeah, why did
Yeah.
he? Yeah.
I don't know, he just rushed this, and I think this is exactly the sort of move where you gotta think about it.
Yeah, that's too bad.
Yeah, this is where the momentum shifted then.
I really wonder what would have happened if he had not messed up there, because it kind of depends where he would have hid as to whether I could.
Yeah. It was gonna be important, yeah.
Yeah, I don't know what would have happened.
But even then, it comes down to your hide after your next turn, right? And your hide would have needed to be safe from a double kill as well. And he had jetpacks, so I mean, I don't know. This was an interesting round. It had an interesting early game, and then an interesting mid game, and then this as well.
I mean, yeah, it's like. I guess you could say the fact that it was a pretty open map did make it more interesting instead of all these like overly complex ones. Even though usually we're more reluctant to like have to play on the more open maps, but
yeah, I'm a stickler for that as well. I think the game is like objectively better on more complex maps, but this was actually a complex map because you could see that on the right side the tunnels were very squiggly, and on a map like this it's then not a problem if one of the sides is more open, right?
Yeah,
that doesn't hurt me. There are definitely, especially island maps though, where they're just way too simple, and I think the game suffers for that when people like want to play on maps like that just to keep rounds shorter.
Yeah.
I don't like that. I think you need the complexity in a scheme like Intermediate, where the entire point is finding ways to deal with the randomness of the terrain, of the worm spawns, of the mine spawns, and the barrels and stuff like that.
There's a lot of shit that can be just like horrible luck, and I think the maps picked today were like they were sort of like just complex enough. I guess I could have seen some of them going like a little bit crazy, but
I think two were a little not complex enough. The rest turned out to be fine, but it was kind of down to RNG because Jimmy wasn't actually going into the map editor and trying to preview them and like make sure there's no bridges or only maybe one bridge and max objects. He wasn't doing that, so he basically got lucky with the maps. I think
I guess one thing, I think it's good to practice on a variety of maps. I usually practice on like the more ploppy, less complex maps, because then it's like, oh, these real maps are
I think
easy.
that's better for practice because you almost always get some sort of combo on the first turn, right? And that's the thing you want to be practicing specifically.
Yeah, there you can deal with, like, if you pick easy maps to practice on, you get all those panic situations where you have to move like a shitload of worms.
Yeah.
It
is better practice. Yeah, I agree with that.
Yeah,
I still wouldn't play
sure.
on them though for like league matches.
Yeah, no way. Yeah, so if anyone's just joining us, we are analyzing we're analyzing some Worms Armageddon. There's an intermediate tournament called Crespo's Worms Tournament. Happens every year, where a bunch of the best players face off. This was my match today. The finals, me versus Tita, and we're just analyzing all the moves just to see what could have been done differently. And it's gone pretty in depth so far. This is the last game in
this was
the series.
This one was 3-1 to you, and this was also the first, the next island, the next pair of island map matches where you also got first turn. So at this point in the chat, as we were watching the final, we were thinking this is a very good spot for Mablak to be in.
Yeah. So, yeah, I did luck out. I got the first turn in this series of games, which sometimes works out. Like, once you come...
I mean, it's not a huge advantage because you're playing so many rounds. It's first 4 wins, right?
Yeah.
It's probably not what makes a difference in the end, but it's nice to start first, I think. Yeah, so straight away you find a rope knock block without even using anything else. And you get this bat as well, which was tight and close, but it was on, yeah. And the hide you get after it is pretty good as well. This is going to come into play later on as well.
Uh-huh. Sometimes it's hard to know whether to... So I had to use 2 ropes to get 2 kills there. Sometimes it's hard to know if that's worth it or not, but you can just kind of compare, like, okay, what if this was like another situation where I had to use 2 ropes to get 2 kills? Would I do it, like, if they were on top of the map, would I do it there? Yeah. If the answer is yes, then like, yeah, just do it. You can sort of think like,
the reasoning isn't it's an easy kill, so I'm gonna go for it, right, with the single rope. The reasoning is, compared to other situations, would I have done this? And the answer there is much more clearly that yeah, actually you just would, yeah.
Yeah.
And it's another open map where you're not gonna be that stuck down there without any ropes left, right?
Yeah, it didn't seem like I would need ropes too severely. So yeah, 2 ropes is probably about the max.
This was a good notch to Tita though.
Yeah, and 2 ropes is probably about the max you want to use on a first turn.
Yeah. I mean, he went for this flop. It could have happened, but it didn't. Right.
Good attempts.
Yeah, it was very close. Yeah. Would the bat not have worked?
It didn't. No, it wouldn't have worked. No.
Yeah. Right.
Unless you used extra angles.
Oh yeah.
On the down low.
I think anymore because the scheme's been fixed, right? And
oh yeah, you can't even do it if you wanted to.
New extended scheme options now, where you literally just can't do that anymore.
Oh yeah.
Not that anyone would, because it's been against the rules for many years.
Yeah. But you can do it in...
This is an excellent dynamite.
Oh, thanks.
Everyone in the Twitch chat was trying to figure out how many notches was that. Like the nudges of walking on top of the worm's head.
This is a 2 nudger. Once you're on the top of the worm's head, as you crawl up the left side of its back, you're at the topmost point, 2 nudges.
Yeah, 2 more.
But crucially,
there's a little bit of variance to this, though.
Crucially, yes, there's probably plus or minus somewhere between 5 and 10 degrees for each nudge.
Yeah.
And or for your starting.
Also slightly different between mines and dynamite.
And one crucial thing is that when you do these dynamite drops and mine drops, it changes based on whether the worm has moved or not in the round. So this worm hasn't moved, which means you'll get a higher angle.
Yeah, slightly higher angle compared to if the worm had moved and randomize its value how high above his standing, right?
Yep.
Whereas a worm that has either not moved yet or has teleported inside terrain always has the highest so Y value, right? The Y position of the worm.
Yeah.
Oh, this was actually, this was an interesting one. Tita, at this point, I think it was slightly tilted, and there was a way to avoid this happening in a few ways. He could have, first of all, just not fallen down, but he could have also, since he decided he was going for the longbow, he could have also first gone for the barrel explosion, and that would have made almost guaranteed the access to the other worm. That might have been safer as well after the barrel explosion, right?
Yeah, I am kicking myself because with Yargington, if I had hit a bit more right, he wouldn't have been able to do that unless maybe he traveled to the left. He could have maybe though if he traveled to the left side, did the bow and then shot the barrel from the left, but. I don't know.
So you're thinking the slope you're standing on is smooth,
I could have
right?
if I had been
Right?
Yeah, if I had been to the right, I would have slid probably.
Yeah, you first slide to the left and then it slows you down and probably you don't plop,
I can't believe I actually cannot believe how effective Tita's skunk is in this game.
Yeah. Finally some skunk action.
And yeah, I don't know why. I just didn't seem to should have handled this differently. For example, I could have I forget who goes next, but I could have skunked Quinto and Terciero on the right. There's a few things I could have done, I think.
Yeah.
I mean, this is fine, but
this ended up being fine. It also wasn't what you were going for because you were trying to do the cows from up top, right, and not fall down, right?
I think it would have turned out the same actually, but
close, yeah.
I think I was going to end up doing them in the same way, but I think there must be a way I could have gotten a double kill there, just some slight difference.
Probably. Yeah. This is also something that's almost impossible to see in advance. Though.
Pretty hard.
Yeah, there is always value in staying up, though, if you can. But in that case, dropping down give you more options in terms of where you're going to be exploding the cows. And, you got pretty much exactly right. Oh, so this is where you get axed, right? Yeah, and there's a body block as well.
Yeah, pretty smart.
Yeah, it's good. Yeah, that's interesting though that you noticed the skunk because that was something that I enjoyed about this round as well. And it was a close round. It looked like you were gonna run away with it, but nope, not really.
Yeah, no. Well, I should have. Yeah, I should have. Well, actually, maybe I did sort of need to do those cows because that worm was gonna go next, but. Maybe with my jetpack, I could have done a skunk and then just kind of escaped, like a skunk on the right, 2 worms.
Yeah. Yeah, you would have had better top control doing it that way, but that's a double-edged sword as well.
Yeah, because did I
airstrike that's gonna be coming out of delay?
Yeah, I guess so. Because I could have held on to those cows, and Tito only has 1 rope left. So maybe I didn't. Yeah, I didn't need to be as worried about those 2 lower worms.
Yeah, and also the more resource starved he is, the more valuable taking the top is for you if you can take it safely, right?
Mm-hmm.
On the other hand, he This was another one of those maps where initially I thought it was too simple, but it turned out that actually it was complex enough for even like the dark side of things, where Tita almost could have done something right.
Yeah.
This skunk was good though. He got 23 on gunk.
Yep.
Maybe some merit to piling one of those skunked worms though, if he could have.
And he has... Oh, he does have a worm select left, yeah.
Right, yeah.
So I do kind of want to finish off this guy before he considers using him, but it would also... Another idea, I could use Penguin to kill Ultimo. I don't know. It's kind of...
Yeah. There weren't many like obvious turns where you specifically want to go for them left by this point. You also used up your cows at this point, so that reduces your options. And Tita still had his, right?
Does he? Yeah.
Yeah, he does. So this is maybe a reason you're more worried than usual about his worm invading your left side here now.
Yeah, a little bit, because, I mean, what if he... Even though he just skunked, what if he, like, cowed those two worms? That's kind of silly, but, like...
Yeah, it is silly. He could have gone for the... I don't know. Could he have gone for the cows instead of the skunk and use up his rope?
Oh, my gunk worm was, like, more to the right, so nah, I don't think...
Yeah, probably not. Yeah.
That was a little bit sketch.
I mean, it could have been. Yeah, this homing was funny. I mean, there's not that many ways it can fail, but
that was a bit sketchy.
There's probably safer ways to go for it as well. Right. So you do the worm order rotation. Turns out to be such that you get to kill this worm off safely now. What's your top right side worm doing though? It's been a while since he had a turn.
I think they're... I guess he's getting killed off.
Yeah, I guess he is. Oh yeah, because he gets this turn first. Yeah, this is actually where I wasn't watching the stream, I think, because I'm not remembering this part.
It was very surprising, because like this makes it 4-4. And like before, up to this point, I felt like I had an advantage, but
I mean, you did. I think you specifically did have an advantage. It's just sometimes it happens where the advantage isn't enough to actually matter, right?
I think if you look at it, the fact that my cows didn't get the double kill makes a huge difference here, because now it's 4 versus 4 instead of 4 versus 2.
Yeah, and also your cows could have killed your worm off. The 26 HP one, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, you only barely got away with your life there.
Yeah, it could have gone worse.
Yeah.
Okay, just at this point, just need to survive.
This it ended up being a much more nervous round than it looked like initially.
Oh man, kicking myself again for leaving. It was really hard to get Cagley any further left. It was the problem. But maybe I should have... What do I have? Maybe I should... Like, if I could have even used a rope to attack just so that I could get a good hide with Cagley. Like that...
Yeah.
I mean
that is ideally what you want to be doing. If you're moving the worm anyway out of danger, you want to be also getting an attack hand. This was kind of this was the end of the mid game though, and at this point, when it starts getting close to the late game, you're less inclined to go for stuff like that.
Mm-hmm. But I only had 2 ropes, so I mean, wait.
Yeah. At this point though, the airstrikes were coming out of delay, and they were actually out of delay, and there was maybe a napalm on Cagley that as soon as Tita gets blue wind, right, it's almost guaranteed to get the
kill. It is pretty good. So what I should have done with my girder is just put it diagonal like this above Cagley's head. so that it blocks the
Yeah, yeah,
napalm. Yeah, that would have given him a way up. Still.
yeah, yeah, yeah.
Yeah, I don't know why I didn't think of that.
I mean, you're never gonna be playing a best of 7 perfectly all the way.
It is mentally draining for sure, but
Yeah, yeah, it is. I think I was gonna say when you were saying you maybe prefer going for more light side tactics. I think maybe in an event like CWT where you're playing a lot of long matches and maybe you're playing even on consecutive days sometimes, that is where it comes into play, that playing shorter rounds and shorter matches is just preferable. Because
yeah, it could help.
otherwise it's easy to lose track of everything that you played, and you end up not learning as much, right, for your next round.
Yeah.
Yeah, so Nachi Bazooka, I didn't quite get it though. Was it all the way full power?
Yeah.
Alright.
I didn't expect that to hit, but I was pretty sure it would like hit something.
Yeah, somewhere around there. I mean, it could have gotten a kill on his first swarm, but that was very unlikely.
I was thinking at that point I could have used homing, and there was like a reasonable chance I could have killed the 17 health worm. Just like,
Yeah.
it's not like an impossible gap if I just aim a little bit below him.
Yeah, I mean, on the other hand, though, it's very easy to miss shots like that. I would have missed it.
I thought I might need homing later, so
Yeah, maybe, yeah. Yeah, at this point, so this is where he does actually go for the napalm, right?
yeah, you definitely should have protected myself.
Yeah, I mean, you could have, right? You could have, and that's reason to be angry about this. Ooh, he got so much damage as well. Yeah, so I'm imagining that if we go for the other girder that actually protects him, then he just never even goes for the napalm there. So now we're invading. I think it made sense to invade now, yeah.
This is a non-invade. This is another snipe.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, I mean, this makes sense. Also, I noticed that when you're approaching a situation on the rope, you quite like to pre-select your weapon that you're gonna use for your turn.
I think so.
I saw you do that with Kamikaze, I saw you do that with the shotgun here, and I think I saw you do it with something else as well.
Yeah, you gotta save time.
That just seems like showing off to me. Like you're trying to mind game your opponent. Going, oh crap! Why didn't I play around that?
Yeah.
Oh yeah, that's interesting. You actually crawled back into your hide here. That's pretty good. Yeah, that's pretty good.
Yeah, that was my thought there. I needed to kill. I couldn't afford to actually go over there.
Yeah, because maybe if this was a full HP worm, maybe there is a way you go for the kill and stay there. And then he's probably going to have to use some sort of utility to try and get up and contest that.
Oh, yeah.
He didn't have that much left, though.
Yeah. Oh, and he does have I think one reason I couldn't stay there on his right side, he has a worm select, so.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, that skunk ended up dealing so much damage, you're right.
Yeah, look at that. They'd be 2, 100 health worms otherwise.
Yeah. I mean, this round was going into a fourth end game anyway, though. So maybe I don't know. Maybe it doesn't matter that much that they're gonna be losing all of that HP, because they by sudden that they're gonna anyway, right? And I think if the round actually goes into a BNG late game, at that point you're pretty happy because you're more confident at that than I think D-Ray is.
Yeah, but he's good. He knows how to he's thrown some good petrols.
Yeah. he used to play Hysteria quite a bit as well, didn't he?
Alright.
And
Yeah,
that's also one of the schemes that are kind of artillery style.
yeah. Pretty BNG. So, like,
Yeah.
let's see. So, since neither of us wants to invade, I'm, like, not super unsafe. I'm, like...
Yeah, you also saw him use the napalm, and that's the weapon you're worried about there.
Yeah, so he already used homing, he already used napalm, so
Yeah.
that's nice for me.
Yeah, I actually like that hide. Also, the way you end up hiding there after your next turn, which I think you go for a homing, you kill off one of his worms, and you get the hide in the, like you even improve the hide from where you just teleported to.
Yeah,
So I like that.
I think basically I'm just trying to split up my worm so he cannot shotgun them. I know he doesn't have like low gravity. The only way he could shotgun Yozzle and Gunk would be as hitting Yozzle going across the top to the right. But I don't think he can do that either because of the smiley face thing. It's too tall.
Yeah. Did he still have his low grav? He didn't, right?
No, he used it. Yeah.
Yeah, for the dynamite turn,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah. So he used that.
He does still have the cows. The cows are maybe a way he gets a double kill, right? Even in the late sudden death.
Yeah, gotta watch out.
Yeah, and that, I mean, the cows can traverse almost half the map before they explode, so you gotta be careful.
Yeah, there might be a way for him to get off cows, but it would be really be pretty hard to do without hitting himself, like in sudden death.
Yeah, it is dangerous, and not that often that you're left with big explosive weapons by the time the worms get put to 1 HP, right?
Mm-hmm.
That is not something a lot of players practice.
It's pretty, yeah, like having cows this late is pretty unusual.
Yeah, it is. I mean, it's also maybe a sign that you didn't play optimally, right? Because cows are so good in the early to mid game that maybe you just, it is better to have used them than not by this point.
Can't believe Tita does this actually. Like, what?
Yeah, this was a weird one. Yeah,
it's impressive, but wow.
I feel like this was the point at which Tita figured out that actually, if I am gonna win, I gotta play a little bit more like myself. He was first of all, he was 3-1 down, but also the previous round he kind of threw, right? And this is, I think, the reason at this point he decided to just go for it, right?
Yeah.
I mean, it was too late though. That's what I meant earlier when I said that shouldn't he have gone into the final with this mindset and just try and go for it early and then see whether or not it works, right? As opposed to playing it safe, going just far enough down that it's now very difficult to win, and then try and light side it to victory. It would have been a nice comeback. It wasn't to be.
Yeah, he could have. Yeah, there's some times where he hasn't been his normal, more aggressive self. He definitely knew here that he had to invade a little bit.
Yeah.
And
it is always about finding that balance, right?
Let's see.
Yeah, because there were some kamikaze turns as well where I was surprised he just rejected them and didn't go for them. And maybe there was going to be one this round as well. Not sure. We'll see.
So jetpack, it's not a great spot to jetpack from. You can't get that far.
Yeah, but he got this jetpack quite right, didn't he? Oh yeah, he didn't get all the way there. He still goes for the grenade and kills you off though, which was pretty good.
Yeah, I probably should have hit. I should have hit a little more left.
Yeah, I mean, you weren't hiding against grenades though, because how are you gonna know that, right? That this is gonna be the attack that goes for you. But yeah, I think maybe you could have been higher up and just on the edge of something, right? not as set up for some sort of sitter.
Mm-hmm.
Also, conveniently, he is on 26 HP with that worm.
Yeah, it's annoying.
Kill him off though. He could have saved this drop if it wasn't 25. Maybe.
And so what I'm counting on here is the girder that I made. That was actually a really hugely important girder that's trapping Quinto.
Yeah.
Basically, if you make a girder with the right timing on a worm that's just gone, and you make it so it's
the sudden death arrives now, right?
Yeah, so like sudden death arrives and the worm is still trapped, then you have like so many options. Like if I just kill Terciero now, then I can potentially just do whatever I want with the other worm.
Yeah, this is basically what comes up in Team 17 as well, even though in Team 17 there's no 1 HP sudden death, but there are cutoff points where you know that you're going to be vulnerable to specific weapons. And if you can block a worm for an extra turn, for another rotation, the damage from the nuke that happens at the end of Team 17 rounds is what brings the worm lower down by the time they end up escaping the block, right? And I think that's basically the same thing that you did here, except it's even more obvious in intermediate because there's a very marked cutoff point where all of the HP just goes away on the worm, right?
Mm-hmm.
And any little touch kills him off. This is, I think, where you do the homing, right? And that basically seals the game then.
Yeah, because he doesn't have any air weps except for airstrike.
Yeah, this was a very close round though, because he could have, if he had a jetpack left here, or maybe a jetpack and the rope, right? I think he makes it, right? And maybe he could have made it, because did he have 2 ropes left here? That's what they said on stream. I wasn't sure though.
He just has 1 rope.
Oh, it's just the one. Yeah, I think with the single rope, she actually can't make it. He got so close though.
It's like his terrain above him on the right is. It's hard to tell if 1 rope can make it.
Yeah, I mean, he does attach the rope well though. So your homing works, and you get a nice hide here. You got a very good hide there. I think even though his grenade attempt almost kills you off, I think that was still a very good hide there. Yeah, so I mean, at this point he just has to go for it, right? And he does, to his credit. He's not just waiting.
So yeah, it is really tense. I didn't want my worm to be that far right. I wanted him to be more left. I just messed up the retreat. And yeah, he
on the other hand, there's no airstrike that gets you there, right? Yeah, I don't think so. Yeah, so I mean, he still needed to launch himself up onto that star object, and he got it.
He did get. I mean, this is a pretty good grenade that he tossed.
Yeah, the grenade almost got you. I mean, he could have also started the rope turn way earlier, right? And then he maybe gets to go for that same grenade that he already did earlier and killed one of your worms.
Yeah.
So he could have walked to the left here. If he had 10 seconds longer, or maybe 15, he could have just gone for that grenade again and scissored you and won the round.
Yep.
Yeah, so here you decided you're actually just gonna parachute and not bother about that jump.
Yeah, just don't mess up, basically.
At this point, the GGs had already come out, but I mean, I'm not a fan of doing that because I've seen so many rounds fail at the very last step. Yeah,
it can happen really easily. Like, yeah.
Wait, what?
I was struggling here actually to like find
yeah.
like the absolute easiest way to kill without putting myself at risk.
Yeah. I mean, Fire Punch would have been fine as well, right?
Yeah.
There's almost no way he knocks you. This is safer though. This is even better. Alright. Congrats. You won. That was amazing. Actually, this was
Thanks.
your toughest match though. This CWD, wasn't it?
It's been my one, probably one of my harder ones. I've only been in, I guess I've only been in 5 CWTs, but yeah, I mean it
Yeah.
was tough. It was pretty intense. I think actually, I guess I would say like that one versus Chuvash in 2016 is probably the
Yeah, yeah.
most
I
intense.
just said
I would,
out of all the matches this year, this was your hardest one probably,
yeah,
and maybe the one round against Chicken, right? Because he keeps mentioning that he actually drew a round against you and also won one.
oh
So
yeah,
that was a 3-1 score, right?
nice
Wasn't it?
job to Chicken.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, he's proud of it, and I think he's got good reason to be, because he did play that round better than I think
He
most
played,
of his other rounds.
yeah, you played good. Uh,
Yeah.
and hello to Low Cure in chat. Um,
Oh, hey.
Thanks for joining us. We're just doing some intermediate analysis. I don't know if you're a wormer or non-wormer, but um,
We've been at it for over 3 hours now. That's nice. 5 hours next time.
yeah. Oh, and thanks, Seda. Yeah, we did a deep dive into the finals of me versus Tita, and yeah, just kind of covering like intermediate in general. But
Yeah, yeah.
yeah,
I like it when you switch to your tutor mode and start explaining the
oh
basics.
yeah,
And I think that's something that we've sorely been lacking in this community. Just someone explaining
we need
what's actually going on, right?
we do need like more tutorials and stuff, because
Yeah.
like a lot of our tutorials are kind of tucked away or not complete, or
Yeah.
like
Way,
they
way too advanced, right?
way too advanced or way too basic, or they
Yeah.
um yeah, well, let's see. Well, yeah, I should definitely do some more analysis ones. I'll use this channel to like do a lot of speedrun streaming in the future.
Yes,
Um,
please.
and just worms in general, and also probably Noita next time I play that.
Oh
Uh,
yeah.
yeah, getting
That
into
run's
that.
still going, isn't it? That Noita run.
Yeah, yeah, um,
Yeah.
yeah. You're part of it now, so of course I have to keep going.
Oh
Uh,
yeah. I mean, of course.
yeah, it's a dual run. So um, yeah. Well, that was fun. I hope if
Yeah,
anyone
this
watches
is really
this
interesting.
that
Yeah, yeah.
it helps you get good at intermediate. If you want to play more intermediate, go to normalnonoobs.com. Don't worry, they accept noobs. They love noobs. But it's the intermediate specific league, and there's lots of great players. There's lots of great knowledge you can pick up just playing people. Um,
Yeah, it's also a pretty tightly knit community, and they are very welcoming to new players actually, because they've been aware for years now that getting new players is how the game survives, and how the scheme that they enjoy playing survives, and I think that's what's made them a lot more open to just sharing their knowledge and streaming their games. Because, for example, Chuvash, right, the basically your main rival at this scheme, is very open to just streaming his matches all the time on
yeah,
Discord and screen sharing there, and anyone can just come and watch, right? And I think
yeah.
that's the way you get better at a game that's this complex, right? Just watching players who know what they're doing.
Yeah. It does. Yeah, it helps a lot to watch people and just know what's going on. And there's like, I think this kind of stuff helps too, because there's a lot of knowledge that's
Yeah,
just not really passed down that well. Like there's a lot of things I think are basic about intermediate that there's no like there's no guide for it, or there's some like partial guides that have been written, but nothing in depth.
yeah.
Um,
It's also difficult to approach this subject because there's just so many things that we take for granted, like even just movement across terrain, right? The way you do the jumps, the way you do the backflips,
yeah,
the way you sometimes use the parachute and often not. But in Team 17, for example, the parachute is everything. Like those differences between schemes and game styles are difficult to convey to people because
yeah,
until you've played the game, like each of the schemes for years, the differences are so not obvious, right?
It's pretty hard. It's hard to, yeah, there's a lot of things that you just have to pick up to.
I mean, if you're the sort of player who learns by playing, that's still the best way to learn at any game, I think, and
Yeah.
in Worms especially. But if you're the sort of player who likes like reading articles and just talking to players and watching them play, I think we do have the potential to bring that to a new level on Worms Armageddon as well. I think we should approach it that way as well, because some people are just, they respond better to learning this way.
Yeah.
And I've seen this on card games as well. I've seen it at table tennis as well, where some players do actually need to have the theory presented to them, and
Yeah.
only then are they going to be able to start picking up everything as they play as well.
Some people also just like watching tutorial vids for things that they don't even play,
Yeah.
which is fun too.
Yeah.
I mean, hey,
I mean, yeah, that's pretty much me. I've
it's fun.
watched so many games on Twitch that I'll never ever play in my life, but I enjoy specifically watching players who are good at it and kind of know that they're the ones that everyone's gonna look up to, right? And they present their content in a way where it can be learned from as well.
Oh yeah,
That's my favorite thing about streaming and Twitch and the communities that form around streams like that, right?
yeah, it's cool. But yeah, like sometimes
Yeah.
I just watch like Street Fighter tutorials because I'm like, hey, maybe one day I'll play that shit. But
Yeah, I mean, I've done literally that before as well. I did play a little bit of Street Fighter though, especially I don't even remember what it was called. It was one of the third ones that was less popular, but
the
very,
Third
very
Strike one?
popular. Yeah, that's the one.
that one's cool. Yeah,
Yeah, it was very popular with the most hardcore players, because it had the graphics and the precision of the
oh yeah, the
second
counters.
Street Fighter game, but it also had like more stuff added to it mechanically, right? And it was very easy for the top players to just style on everyone else, and
Yeah,
well, that's also the mark of a very hardcore game, and
Yeah.
that is the situation we find ourselves in Worms a little bit, not to
Right.
that extent.
yeah. There's some like Korean word for gamers that comes to mind, like for games that are old that have a bunch of pro players, and the word is stagnant water. I forget how it's pronounced, like coin mule or something. But
Is that the opposite of flowing water?
yes, exactly. Flowing water is a well-known wormer, by the way. So yeah, it's basically just like a community gets filled with these people who are too pro, and that drives other people away. Which hopefully,
Yeah.
I mean, Worms, we have gotten to a level where it's like there's a lot of pros, but there's
Yeah.
tons of room for people to come in, and yeah,
I mean, Worms is so much more casual than something like StarCraft, though, because if you're trying to play StarCraft online, there's just
you just
no
can't play casual.
level, right?
Yeah.
There's no opponents that you can queue into that just don't know how to play. Whereas in Worms, that happens a lot, and that happens all the time. And just the other day, when Soda Poppin was streaming Worms, right, he quite easily was able to find his way into a lobby where everyone was as bad as he was, and like maybe
Yeah.
worse, right? And he
There's
had fun
that.
anyway. So I think
yeah.
we're not quite at that point on Worms Armageddon,
Yeah.
despite the reputation that the game has.
Yeah, but yeah, I mean, Worms, like there's still it's such a sandbox game that there's always going to be tons of like casual players, but
Yeah,
there's
you
also a
are
lot of
gonna be able to
competition.
find a way to play the game where you're having fun, right?
Yeah, I think so.
As long as you look forward.
Yeah, but if anyone wants to play, come to the Total Wormage Discord,
Yes,
or
please.
that other
Or any
Discord.
others. There's like 15 now, so.
I don't know
you're
what
gonna
the
have
official
fun
title
enjoying
of
them.
what is Sensei's Discord.
It's just called the Worms Armageddon Discord now. It used to be called the Dojo, though.
Oh, okay, it's just called the Worms Armageddon Discord. Well, whichever one you find through Discord. Maybe I should
Yeah,
have links on my channel.
They all link to each other anyway, so as long as you find one, you're gonna eventually find
Yeah,
all of the rest.
but
And it's mostly the same people as well. So
good way to connect with people, and I'm happy to play a game with anyone if they're like new or something. Or just
and doesn't realize what honor that is.
yeah. Anyway, we should probably cut the stream off here.
Yeah. All right. It's been fun.
Sounds good. Yeah.
Yeah.
Good
Also,
analyzing.
let me know when you wanna stream the rest of that Noi tournament, because I am very curious to see what happens there.
Yeah. Gonna do full game completion on my first time. No,
Maybe it's gonna die.
I'll die at some point, I'm sure. Okay.
Yeah.
All right. Good hanging. Peace.
Yeah, it's been fun. See ya.
Bye.
Boy.